attack.
Yes.
Basically.
So, no, I wasn't there.
You're good. I'm grabbing my phone.
All right. Hello. So we're still on Twitch. I know that we told some people that we would not be on Twitch anymore, but we still are on Twitch. So Twitch, we're sorry.
That's why we can blame not having a lot of viewers because they're looking at YouTube right now.
We tricked
We
them.
have an excuse.
That's
tonight.
the excuse. We'll get viewers. We have our couple of regular people that come on, plus Rob.
I'm gonna load it up.
I didn't get to do an advertisement thing this week. Normally that usually brings them in, but it's fine. It's all good. All right. Anyway, so we are the Initiative Syndicate, and we play Dungeons and Dragons. We're gonna play Dungeons and Dragons tonight. We're gonna do a brief recap because we did not have our Bard Artificer or Bartificer.
Bartificer, I like it.
I've been waiting for like 12 episodes to say that. Bartificer.
God, if you so.
So last session they went and undertook the Azorius Challenge. The Azorius Challenge led them into a chamber deep within New Prov, the council chambers of basically the entire 3 branches of government within Ravnica. There they faced a Sphinx's riddle. After much debate, they did figure it out. I was very proud of them. It took them a minute to get there, but they got there.
I feel like it was much confusion, not much debate.
Oh my god, I can't believe we're still waiting.
Yeah, so it was not only a riddle, but there was a riddle within the riddle because I am a jerk. But they did solve it. I will be happy to send it to you if you want to try to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Anyway, so that was basically the bulk of the session was that. At the end of the session, however, Navenna wandered off and had a secret conversation with someone named Danica and asked about someone named Victor.
New Elizabeth. New Dragon Bay.
It was a very secretive, very brief, very cryptic conversation. And then she went back to bed. And that was pretty much where we ended the session with Aaron's look of just,
So where are we at now?
you guys should be in the hut.
We're camped out not far from the.
I think we were at the place because we were talking to the guy
Which guy?
last week. The guy who was telling us.
Oh,
about
yeah,
the
yeah.
trip.
Yeah,
we
we did go to the church because we talked to the.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
guys talked to Tesa.
Yes, that's who it is.
That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Because we got the description.
So you guys
Brief
actually
description of
were
the video.
right outside of the gates to the entrance into the little cul-de-sac area of the Orzova. So Tesa gave you a little bit of information, letting you know that the next challenge would basically be a bank heist. She said that you could not use violent means to harm any living creatures.
I'm
Yeah,
out.
it is.
turn your codpiece cannon to stud.
But yes, you cannot use any harmful means to get
Oh my
in
gosh.
by hurting. She specifically said living things.
Yes.
And also, she didn't tell you what you had to take. She just said that you had to steal something from the vault.
This is my picture of the door.
It's gonna be like a giant shark.
That's good stuff. It looks like something else.
That's why it looks like what's behind the codpiece. The cannon.
Not the skin.
The gunpowder.
Yeah, the gunpowder and the berries.
There you
So,
Anywho.
Orzova,
There were a
That's
sticky.
where
Church of Deals.
What?
If it's not me, it's him.
What did I do?
So, what would you like to do? You guys are outside of Orzova. It is nighttime. It is foggy. It looks spooky. The moon is not quite full. and there is a cloud coverage in the sky. The air temperature outside feels like a fall evening. It's a little bit cooler than would be normal this time of year, as you guys are into the earliest parts of summer.
You want to go in?
No. Anybody got a plan on how to get to the vault?
I mean, most of my experience is like protecting the vaults, so I don't know about breaking into them.
I don't know. I guess we should just try and be as stealthy as possible.
Has anybody here ever stolen anything?
I mean, I mostly just walk into places.
No.
I mostly just walk into places, pretend I belong, and run away if people realize what's going on. So
I say we go in there, break everything, and she can fix it on the way out.
So there's an elephant in the room. We're trying to be stealthy. Rocky.
Minotaur, not an elephant.
It's
I
an
don't know.
expression.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one. And number two, I mean, my armor clinks. I don't know what you want from me.
Do you have any lighter armor, maybe?
I mean, my fur. It's I mean, I can try and like stuff. Do we have like a towel or something? I can stuff it between some of the plates and
Check one of her pockets.
True.
I do keep bolts of cloth on me.
All right, well let's see if we can add this up a
course
little bit.
She does.
I feel like.
Yeah.
I've seen her. I've seen her list of things. It's a lot.
I think
that's not even
Skriz
on
takes
that
it and then
list,
he
so
just starts wrapping Rocky like a mummy, like going around his legs and working around. Is this what you want to do? And that's what we'll do. Is go in and go be a big mummy, and you just scare everything.
Yeah, you
and we'll go straight to the vault.
Oh.
How about that?
That might work.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what other plans.
To make
we
it
got.
realistic, we'll just keep your face uncovered.
Does anyone else have any ideas?
So I have invisibility prepared. That won't help with the noise.
But it'll
I
help
might
with
actually have that as
inside.
well, which would be useful because that means we don't have to spend very high level spell slots to.
I've got the Wonder Wonders, and it has invisibility on it too, as you guys seen. The last
You do have invisibility.
You
So
only got a 1 in like 35 chance of hitting it. It's no big
It
deal.
generally just turns things blue.
yeah.
I don't need to be a blue minotaur.
But that would be, they might think you're a ghost.
All right, he's onto something.
The time I cast it'll be fireball.
It's gonna be the
Sorry, Rocky.
It's gonna be the petrify one.
Yeah.
It's like
I can't fix that.
we're at a Gorgon Tears. Can't fix that.
I also have alter self, but if I have to talk my way out of anything, I will fail.
Yeah, my charisma's no
Miserably.
longer high.
Yeah, that'd be.
I kind of became undead. And
That's probably why I need like disguise self for this first Skriz.
going undead made me lose all my charisma.
Hi.
I mean, it's charismatic to probably some people.
That's a sexy zombie.
Yeah, other undead.
I was gonna ask you about that at some point, but I think we're a little bit busy. Maybe
It's
later.
okay. Maybe another time.
I also have haste if someone wants to just run as fast as
Yeah.
possible through, grab something, and run away.
So we were told we cannot physically hurt people, right?
Correct.
We can
I've
like.
got Tasha's hideous
You
laughter.
cannot
Okay.
physically harm any living thing.
I'm assuming grapple wouldn't count as harm
It's centered on you.
because it's
The second that you do even 1 point of damage, you have inflicted harm.
But grapple doesn't. like-
Grapple does not.
Does not.
Okay, yeah, no, just like
If I know where the
knock
vault-
him over
if I
and
know
give
what
him a
the
big
vault looks like,
blankety.
You got it, guys. I will grapple them.
Hey, I can animate things.
I
I'm
love
gonna
it when
animate
a plan
blanket
comes
and
together.
then just like
Have
Have it tackle
have I
him
ever
and-
seen the vault?
burrito them.
There's a one.
Being in the
Okay, so you are an Orzhov member,
Or like the cave.
but you probably have never actually seen the vault, but you have a general idea of where it's at.
That's useful.
You know that it's deep under the ground. It's several layers deep. Now, you've been into the Obsidian chamber for the Ghost Council, and you know that the vault is under that.
Ooh, interesting.
There's several layers down we have to go to get to it.
Interesting.
Contract.
I like that.
Like an onion.
Like an onion.
Like
All right,
a
Shrek, sweet.
He looks
There have been legends, because you've never seen it, and very few members of the Obzadot do, or I'm sorry, of the Orzhov do. Most people that see it are trusted tax collectors. I know you guys were not aware that you guys collected taxes, but indeed you do. You collect tithes and taxes
T-tax.
and debts.
You do that.
These legends, would you say they're of the hidden temple?
No. The legends, though, have also said that the vault may actually be in the chamber of the Obzadot. As in, they may be one in the same.
Let's say we do what we do best.
Well, we can't hurt anything.
Okay, I say we just quit now.
I mean, that is an option.
Now, there is that other option. We find Madame Madri and take them out, take their
That's
pendant.
true.
That,
But we can always quit.
What? We can take somebody else's?
We can.
yeah,
Absolutely.
because
I vote for that option.
well, we don't know how far along they are with Rakdos. They could be done and heading back now.
It could be. Yeah.
Is that their last?
That's our last one.
Assuming that guy wasn't lying to
Yes,
us.
of course. Assuming that guy wasn't lying.
Well, Tace is a girl.
No.
No, the other guy.
The
He sounds
what was his
There's
name?
the demon guy.
It was the demon guy that
In
tricked
the
us.
restaurant.
He
The
doesn't know his
Cambion.
name.
Cambion. He's the one that told us that.
Cambia.
He's the one that.
Did he
told
give
us
you guys
that,
his name?
Can't be
Bob.
No, his name was not Bob.
I think it was Jeff with the G.
It was
Geoff?
definitely not.
I don't think he did.
Joel. Yeah, I don't think we asked him.
I don't think we asked him.
His name was Copperhead. Also the name of the bar.
Makes sense.
Down Copperhead Road.
Oh yeah, I forgot that in the recap. They had a whole thing where they ran into a Cambion who was causing an illusion restaurant that wasn't even there.
And
But he cooked a good bear steak.
And I bet they got more customers than we did at Rocky's.
Way more.
They were
everything
fake
was
customers.
over. Yeah, when everything was over, I was just in the middle of shit.
Yeah.
Even the restrooms were actually shit. So I'm just
They just
go for home.
You were like,
Come on, that was funny. That was cool.
giving birth to a pound of fudge.
I was so proud of
Right in the
myself for
middle of
that.
the
Like
street.
when I went home, I kind of patted myself on the back and everything. So yes, I mean there is always the option of just quitting.
Well, not
Well, we
quitting.
don't have to quit, but we take my dream.
Well, we have three options then. We can quit.
Well,
We can do this
let's
challenge,
stick
or we can
with
go after Madame Madrid.
realistic options here.
No, we either die
Quitting.
And I don't think quitting
I
really
like
is
that
an
one.
option after.
or we go after Madrid. I
Yeah.
like that one the best. Or I forgot the third option.
We quit.
No, that's not an option.
Doing the
So we
ball.
do the challenge.
So yeah,
We do the challenge and die, do the challenge and live, or we just go after Madrid.
And die.
It is what it is.
well, what do you guys think?
What do we think? Do we need to take a vote on it? Should we?
I mean, there's the other issue. We also have to find Madame Madrid too.
Well,
It's
we know
not just gonna be.
we know where she'll be heading.
It's true.
She'll be going to the square at some
But-
point.
We don't know if they're gonna, if they have any. I mean, they've made it so far already. We don't know if they have any means of hiding themselves.
Well, they might.
Is your sister in that group?
No, she wasn't in the group. She's just part of the order.
So is there only 2 groups left?
I think he said, yeah, it was us and them.
I thought
So-
we were the farthest along.
In
The,
the group?
I don't know.
he said the Orzhov backed out because they lost too many members. I don't. really
The
know who it
remaining
was.
guilds that are still
Madame
running
Madri,
is the ones that have definitely been eliminated is the Demir one.
also many people
The Golgari swarm has been eliminated. The Rakdos group has been eliminated. The Simic group has been eliminated. The Orzhov group resigned.
Resign. That's fine.
The Gruul, no one has heard from them in a while, so they're not sure if they quit or if they are still doing things or what they're doing. So they are currently a question mark. The Azorius is still in it.
Cool.
And the Boros is still in it.
What about Krinko's?
Did Krinko run the maze?
I told
Group of goblins.
the group of goblins headed by Krinko.
Let me see. Let me think
Krinko.
realistically where they would have gone. I would say that they're still fine.
Okay.
That is assuming that the message actually got to Krinko and that he actually ran.
Okay,
That's
So
Because you did send some of your other finest to
That's-
go
yes.
go talk to him.
so I just got to beg the other Griznut. It's Jiznut and his people out there. Oh, gosh. And they haven't even completed one thing. They're just bar hopping.
They're just hanging out, you know. They're just
yeah. They
chilling.
thought the challenge was to go to every bar and get a drink.
Yeah. They heard challenge starts in a week, but it's ending in a week.
Yeah, they're
Was
all
that every guild hall? I thought it was every bar in Ravnica.
now we all saw Madame Madrid, right?
Yeah.
Everybody saw her.
It's not a secret.
Was
She's
she
definitely
wearing any kind of jewelry that I would know of.
wearing jewelry.
Like necklace, earring.
She wears stuff that would be common for the Rakdos to wear.
So like bones.
It's only 1,000.
Yeah,
It's only
I was gonna
1,000
say, we
feet.
went to the square.
Well, we might as well just try the bank heist. Worst case scenario, we just fail and
Yeah,
then
we
we
do
can
have the
go and
located
try
creature
and-
spell. I just don't have it prepared right now, so I'd have to take a long rest.
You guys still have like 120 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
We still have to
We're
fix
on
You
it.
guys can not. You don't have to go do it right this second. You guys can regroup, get a new plan,
nah,
sit around and discuss it, or you guys can just go now.
like,
Especially considering that you have what several magic users in the group that might have different spells that might be better prepared for it that they didn't bring with them.
Oh no, I totally should. I totally prepared all of my spells for.
Like just because you were here and you now know what the challenge is doesn't mean you have to go right the second.
Yeah.
yeah, but
You guys can regroup.
we've been so successful.
You guys have. You've done very, very well.
You're in trouble. Thanks for that.
All right. So if we did want to do this bank heist, how would we go about it? We want to be sneaky.
Yes.
So
I will cast silence. That's 10 minutes.
okay.
Anything around will be absolutely quiet.
So, as Orzov, do you know if they have any dispel magic barriers or anything, wards, anything like that?
That's a good point.
Because I have my familiar, you have your familiar, and I have polymorph.
Foxes have a very good
We're
stealth
both all
rolls.
into
Make
rats.
a history
One
check, Elvin.
person at a
Oh.
time.
That
That
died time.
does you all, no, all of us don't have to do it. We just
Maybe
have to
I
steal
don't next
something.
time.
Right?
As a one
13.
person from your team, one
At
representative
least,
from
yeah.
your team.
Has to
Has
make
to
it through.
Just get in
Yes.
the vault or in the vault.
You have to.
back?
It says that you have to
break in.
get into the vault and take something.
Well, I'm just thinking that
13.
13. I'm gonna give you advantage since you're a member of the Orzhov Syndicate.
Roll better.
Not many minutes.
With a 13,
13?
you know that
Probably
there
should
are
get some
certain
guidance.
areas within the halls of Orzova that do have dispel magic type effects that would remove certain types of enchantments and illusion magics and alteration magics.
So I have silence. The only problem is silence.
You're not sure where they are,
But
or if they're like traps, like something that you could spring, or you're not entirely sure.
the problem is you guys have verbal spells. You can't use them.
That's true.
None of mine are, so we're good.
Oh, are
Gotta
you
select
talking
some
about
shit.
inside the Obsidian chamber?
No.
If he uses a silence spell.
If I use silence.
Ah,
No verbal.
No verbal spells. Which
Oh, well, that too.
a lot of my spells are verbal.
Because that was from the last time I was in
I haven't actually looked at that.
Let's see.
So,
All of
and,
my cantrips except for one, which is
American
minor
Sign Language
illusion.
doesn't count.
Probably all of
You
mine.
can't
all my
find your way
first
out of
level
this.
spells. So I'd be able to hit things with my
yes
staff.
and no. So, in an attempt to be more accessible to people who actually cannot speak, then yes, if that was your only form of communicating, I would say the sign language would be acceptable. or if you were
That
deaf
would make
or
for a
couldn't
great
speak.
podcast.
Because
That's
how much would that suck to like? All right, your character is they can't speak or they're deaf and they want to be a caster. I'm like, nope, you can't talk, so you can't be a caster. That's just rude.
I don't have a single level spell that doesn't use.
I would
verbal
never
so
do that.
That's actually
Nice.
nope.
No, we are very equal
They're just
opportunity.
still staring
But
at you.
since all of you can speak and hear, to my knowledge, then sign language would not work for you. You would not have adapted a means of casting your spells without verbal
Makes
components.
sense.
So the reason I was asking if all of us have to go in or just one is if we need to, like, subdue someone, one person can stay back, hold person or grapple or whatever, something, as long as no one else comes in and to break the grapple or something, if that makes sense. And the rest of us could keep going.
So how exactly does the silence spell work? Is it like a radius?
20 foot.
20 foot radius. Okay.
I just don't know if you can see it.
Mm,
No, it's not
I
like
think
a
so.
Okay.
not like a bubble. I don't think.
So I can do that, but it's centered on me,
Mhm.
so I have to go. But if you probably put into a rack, I can walk with the familiars. Hopefully, the fox doesn't get hungry.
Yeah, that
And
is
or the bird.
that is their main source of food.
Didn't you say the box is kind of decrepit looking now, isn't it?
It does. It's familiar to begin with. Spirits, so spirits don't need it.
Are you familiar with them?
It's familiar. Yes, I am.
See what
I
you
can say
I see.
fucking poison the shit out of
Hey,
it.
they'll blend in with all the other
Well,
zombies that are
if
different.
we harm something, we fail. Are we gonna harm?
I think so, maybe.
And I have no control over it, really.
Not if you send him in there by himself. Otherwise, yeah, you have complete control
Yeah,
over it.
yeah.
Alright.
He's not like this mindless, brainless
So-
thing. He's bound to you much like Scoffog is. The way that I designed it is it functions like summon undead, but he is bound to you. Your familiar is bound to you. You control what they do. If you do not give them commands, they will do whatever they want. But if you give them commands, then they have to listen to you.
Can you animate some skeletons, send them in? I mean, it's not us doing it.
I think that would
Yeah.
happen.
I know.
I think so.
Alright,
That would be awesome.
I think,
Yeah.
I think we can do that. I'll go in and do the challenge.
Alright, so just you and the familiars, and we'll just
Yeah.
hang out out here.
Up to 100 feet away, assuming yours works the same, I can communicate with
Exactly.
Tinsel.
Yep.
That being said, Tinsel isn't particularly sneaky, and I'd have to have an hour to change her into something else.
Mine is. It's got a good
So
stuff.
we sent you in with your
Yeah, his familiar is not actually a familiar. It functions like a familiar. Hers is an actual familiar.
I can't change into
but
something
you
else.
can talk to it.
Yeah, they both can.
Is there a
It's
range on
telepathically.
it?
100
100
feet.
feet from mine.
Alright, so we'll go in as foxes. 2 foxes.
And if something goes horribly wrong,
Only one of us lose. You guys can go. We lose a familiar and me. Alright. Been dead before.
well, I can't fix dead, so be careful.
Okay. That's fine. I think that's the game plan. Before going in, I'm going to call to light in my head.
And
Okay.
we can do something like invisibility too.
If one of us.
Because like,
So you cling on to the handle of Scoffbug, and you set out your mind to reach to see if you can communicate with your patron. The where are you doing this at?
Just kind of. My eyes are closed. I mean, and I don't know, just within the group, like even if we're in a circle, my eyes are just closed.
Okay. After a couple of moments of your eyes closing and you focusing on the familiarity of Lila at this point, you start to see a vision in your mind's eye of basically your own astral projection form. You see yourself, you see your hands, your feet, and basically you are standing in vast nothingness. It's similar to the Sphinx's chamber of almost like the astral plane, except that this is just darkness. It's odd because you can see you, but
Wow, you look good.
I mean, real.
you don't see anything else. And along the ground, you start to see it looks almost like fog rolling. It starts to swirl around your feet, and it begins to almost feel like it has a foreboding physical presence as it creeps up your back. And then you feel once again like you are no longer alone.
Oh, hello there. And like look over and like this is Hyla.
Right now, all you see is shrouded mist.
It's Victor.
It's death.
Live.
Hello, Alvin.
Ooh, yeah, we were there. You see, we're about to do a bank heist. I know I asked you for a lot already, but would you be able to kind of guide me through here?
Guide you.
Make sure I'm safe, kind of give me what I need to
What am I saying?
complete the job.
Guidance, like the spell.
You need reassurance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a confident guy, but this is a tough one. I mean, we got to break into a vault, and this is my guild. I'm really not really a part of any guild. So I kind of serve you. You're my own guild, but that's another story. Another
Sounds
day.
like cool to me.
You know that it was your loyalty to the Orzhov, which is why I chose you.
Yeah. Well, so I need to get into the vault. Do you have any idea where that is?
Underground.
Is it underneath the chambers, or is it in the chamber? And like, is there any objects in there, like very, very specific objects that would be in there?
I don't know the contents of the vault. The vault is magically enchanted. I can't see in. I assume that it's piles of blood money, tax money, and debts.
Well, could you?
Of course, the vault has many chambers. Were you told specifically which vault?
No, just get into the vault and take something. That's it.
There are lots of vaults.
What's the easiest one?
None of them are easy. You know as well as I do that stealing from the Orzhov is not an easy thing.
Well,
The only advantage that you will have is that if it is as simple as taking money, it probably won't have tracing magic on it. And if it's just a contest of some type, they probably will want you to give back whatever it is that you took.
well, I guess if I run into any danger, do I have you on my side?
You never have me on your side. I've given you all of the strength and abilities that you need to conquer anything.
I didn't
If it's faith that you need, me picking you should be all the faith that you need.
That's motivational. We're gonna put that on plug one day.
You know how many people die in Ravnica every day?
I know I'm a part of that staff. A few thousand millions, I don't know.
Do you know how old I am?
Sounds like a
You look great for your age.
sounds like a loaded question.
It just gets very quiet for a second. You can almost sense her frustrations. I don't choose lightly. I see more potential in you than I have seen in anyone in a long time.
Well, I guess the potential that I worry about is
You have so much raw and talented power that you don't even tap into.
I mean, I'm a little nervous going in here because there was a mirror. You were here in the chambers. This is where I died.
You need to embrace the power that I've given you. You still feel though it's you doing everything by yourself. And then Scoffog reminds you otherwise. And when you embrace that, you're able to do much more. How are those wings treating you?
Not bad. Not bad. I've used them once.
You need to have more confidence in the abilities and powers that I've bestowed upon you.
I'll take your word for it. I'll do my best.
So, in a weird way, if it gives you a warm feeling in your heart, I'm always with you.
With all
I can tell that was hard for her to say.
She takes a D4 psychic.
Yeah.
I'll do my best. Thank you. And I'll open my eyes.
And then you are back.
So did you get all that?
Yeah,
What they said?
yeah. I mean, this is a perfect plan.
Good.
All right. So,
So,
You got all the code words. All
um,
right.
Pep Sninkle.
all the code words you'll be able to say is Fox. Yep.
I'm just curious, what does the fox say?
They actually have like
About
40
to find
different
out.
vocal sounds.
I think the fox says.
Pretty much. That's kind of what they sound like a little bit sometimes.
Tomato, tomato. All right, let's do it. We'll stand out here for backup.
So do you want, if you want Tinsel to go with you, she's not very stealthy, but if I wait an hour, I can turn her into something else that is stealthy. So you guys,
We have time.
Yeah, we have it.
alright.
We'll wait
so
the hour.
do you want a bat, which can fly and like has blind sense, so if there's magical darkness somewhere,
That's true.
I can see through it.
That's good to be useful.
I can't really communicate with you guys.
No,
with
not
you.
Really. I mean, you can communicate with me, but it's about
Yeah,
it.
with you, but
we,
But
we
you'll
can
be
hear,
able-
but you guys,
Yeah.
Elvin's the only one that'll be kind of looking.
Aren't you guys clerics? Don't you guys have sending? Or message?
Not yet.
They're not good clerics.
message doesn't.
Message.
You actually have no excuse.
I think I get sending as a wizard.
I know you're good at killing stuff, but
Sending.
clerics do other stuff.
Yeah, I just don't have it learned.
I mean, I have locate object, blind and deaf.
You know that you have access to all the cleric spells, right?
Well, I only have first level spell. Is first sending only first level? Or is it?
I mean, every time you cast it, though, it will use a spell slot.
Yeah. It's third level. I can't get as a cleric for a little bit, but I mean, I could buy it from the library
go
for
with
3,000 gold
that.
pieces.
There you go.
The belfries in the church of Orzova, there are many bats. What Elvin can tell you about, since none of you other than Elvin has actually been in past the lobby of Orzova, is that it's very much like the church that you went into to deal with the haunting of Bella Belheim. It's very belfry, it's gothic, it's very cathedral, it's regal, it's kind of spooky, even though it's not, meant to be. There are ghosts in servitude to the Orzhov for eternity. There are vampires, bats, gargoyles, and these things known only as thralls. Most of them are winged. They look like some sort of like little mutant bat creatures, and they have undying servitude to whoever created them. The members of the Orzhov range from everything from fighters, paladins, clerics. There are some wizards. But you're not trying to deal with the live people, you're just trying to get into the vault. So knowing their combat capabilities doesn't really help you at all. So a bat wouldn't seem out of place.
So
Can polymorph me into one too?
that's true. I could just cast invisibility and too, or we can just leave him behind since we already got a familiar.
All we need.
That's
We'll
true.
work on sound.
That's not entirely
That's not
true.
entirely true. They just don't have great eyes.
Well, I think for the challenge itself too, I think one of us physically has to be in there, not necessarily.
Oh
just
yeah,
our
that's where he's going.
familiars. Yeah.
So I mean, I could still send. I could turn him invisible. So that would still work.
Whatever we do.
And I think it might be smart to. How long does Bless last? You might want to try and concentrate on that.
I can't do it with silence because silence is not.
Oh, you're doing silence still. Okay.
Do you have polymorph or invisibility?
I have invisibility. Yes.
Well, I was just thinking one of us could polymorph him, and then we could invisibility him, so we'd have two people going in.
We could do that. I can, because I can cast it at 3rd level, and I can turn Benji invisible and Skriz invisible if you want to go in.
I'm going to use my transformation. To be like this little bald, little fat guy.
Okay.
Bald little fat guy with some like razor sharp teeth, so I look like a vampire. So that way, if the polymorph breaks, I still look like a vampire. Fat vampire. Sucking too much diabetes blood.
Beatus.
And yeah, before they polymorph me.
So you're using a polymorph spell to polymorph him into a bat or a giant bat.
Oh, we're not. What do you want to be? Because I was talking about my familiar. We can do both. And that way, if like I can scout and then I guess sign language because I won't be able to talk to him. We'll probably have to do that.
Twice. What is 75 laps still?
How big's a giant?
Giant bat?
Not stealthy.
Okay, we'll just do
Wingspan of 6 feet.
we'll do the stealth.
Basically a
back.
vampire.
Yeah.
A giant bat is considered a large creature.
Super.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, the regular bat is
Vampire
tiny.
bat.
Sure, that might get a viewer.
I
So,
could.
either way.
But you didn't have to do the Heimlich as much as give me that'd be better.
Yeah, I was gonna say that wouldn't work.
You have one in your bag?
No.
I'm very curious. Aren't you allergic to nuts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
walnuts and pecans.
Walnuts and peanuts.
So not almonds.
What is the like? Is there something in it different besides other
Yes,
nuts?
give us an educational thing while we figure out what happened.
So, I'm not a nutologist. However,
I don't think that's how it goes.
But I play one on TV.
I don't know. I don't know. I have almonds every day and nothing. I have a walnut, throat closes.
It's like, I don't know.
Do you
She
have an
falls down-
EpiPen?
Falls down a well, she goes cross-eyed. Gets kicked in the head by a horse, they go uncrossed. Oh.
Microwave on, I pissed myself. I'm gonna need some of that.
Oh,
Oh,
so while we're doing this, I'm assuming Rocky's gonna do this.
yeah.
While I'm assuming it's the same for you. While I'm helping as a bat, I'm gonna be blind and deaf.
Correct.
RLL.
Yeah, I mean,
I put my hand right in. I don't care.
being with y'all outside, just kind of keep them watch. I mean,
Yeah, because we're both going to be.
Yeah.
All our senses are going to be on the familiars, so everything.
So-
The only thing we can like talk out loud. But that's about it. So you can hear us talk. So if we need to communicate something,
could you hear me talk if like
We're
something
blind
was up?
and deaf.
I
You
think,
have to
yeah.
grab us.
you have to like
grab us
yeah,
and shake us.
So you guys
basically.
are just basically zoned out.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Somebody have to come up there and physically like slap
Correct.
you to wake you out of.
Now, if I
Thanks
do
for telling Grizz that.
snap you out, can you snap back in? Or
Yes.
is it like a one and done?
No, we can go back in.
We can go back in,
It's-
assuming it's within 100
100
feet. If once we hit 100 feet, then our familiars are just going to be familiars.
Yeah, they're gonna be kind of their
They're
own.
unfamiliar.
Yep.
And let me see, what is Tinsel's intelligence without me controlling?
And could you like give her orders to follow if you're
Two.
there?
Three. He has high wisdom.
You guys
Yeah.
have dumb familiars.
Hey, my wisdom is 14. Tinsel's wisdom
Isn't there like a
14.
warlock that can get like an imp or something? That's not too bad. I don't think
So,
it's not great, but it's better than animals.
however,
Imps can
Useful
turn
we
invisible on
are.
their own.
be
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
variable.
All right, one.
Oh wait,
So-
it'll change since I'm not going to be
So
a
double
big-
back fox.
Yeah, I don't know. Bad
Oh no, it's even worse.
Is it a 1?
Intelligence 2, Wisdom 12,
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna be fine.
Dex 15.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
You had me.
My next is
According
6.
to my familiar or my patron, I got all the strength I need.
We'll just follow the lead.
Yeah.
If shit goes sideways,
So
you don't
Rocky
have
and I are out basically guarding these two while they're in.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I mean,
are
we'll-
you gonna turn him invisible so you can go with, or no?
So just so I
It's up-
understand
so-
the plan, your familiar is going in. Your familiar is going in, and you are polymorphing him into a bat,
And potentially.
and then you guys are going to stay outside and guard them.
Is that the plan?
They're gonna call surprise.
Here's another option. We can send Skriz in, and I can turn him invisible.
Do you really want shiny hot piece 1-to-1 going in there?
I didn't figure
I mean, he's a bard. But
I
Makes
mean,
sense.
kind
he is
of.
more stealthy than the Minotaur with all the armor.
that's true.
I just want to say we didn't try padding the armor. I mean, it could work.
Okay, so while we're waiting,
You
just in
also
case-
didn't try taking the armor off.
I mean, we could try. We could just
It's
go
not
and
like-
get some
You're
like,
not.
leather
You're
armor
not supposed to
or
be
something.
fighting anything. Well,
it really.
I said nothing living.
Exactly.
it doesn't matter, but I could take it off.
I mean,
Put
we
it in the
could
bag
go,
of holding.
we have time. We could probably find some place where you get like leather or something. At least something to give you some armor
Wait.
class.
So
I think I got. Go in, make a deposit to the orphan. You throw one of us in the bag.
Yep.
You make a deposit.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's
They're gonna take it and put it in the vault.
Mhm.
You say we're gonna start the count, and then we take it out of there, and then we're good.
So you
That
want me to
sounds-
get like a distraction? Like I've got this dance move called the pinch, and it's real distracting. Lights out.
So if we're gonna do this,
You say you're
bag,
gonna deposit.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
but
we need an
like
extra bag of holdings. That sounds like a
in
good
Ocean's
way to use
11,
it.
they use a pinch.
Sounds like a good way to lose a person.
Whatever you go. Are we Ocean 11?
That is basically the Ocean's 11 plot. I
Or
watched it.
We steal the
We do
decoration,
this.
put it in the pins.
we put Skriz in one of the pockets. And we leave the jacket in there, and Skriz comes out, steals
Oh,
it.
I'm not leaving my jacket anywhere.
Well, I'll come out where you just see him dragging the grandma.
You just went in my pocket.
I like my. Oh, make a deposit. So we put coins in it. Make a deposit with, but I'll know the coins. So we'll know what that is.
Could you just like tell them you're making a deposit personally and then just walk into it?
I think they know we're
You
part of
haven't
the
tried.
tribe.
I mean, we haven't tried it.
Can we figure out something before I go Leroy Jenkins on you? Just run in because we're going to have 3 hours of airtime of deciding if we're going to polymorph or go to business.
Yeah.
I mean, I want all 2 of our listeners to quit being bored. These M&Ms are good. I'm gonna gain 30 pounds waiting for us to get a plan.
I'll take my armor off in hopes of being turned invisible.
Okay.
I
Look.
will.
Skriz sees him taking his arm off, so Skriz gets down naked too. It's that's what we're doing.
No, please put
No.
your armor back on. I like to imagine Skriz wears nothing under his armor.
It's just cod paste.
That's all it is. I'm not taking this off. That's it's a part
Yeah,
of it.
that's all right. You can
See,
And your
know,
crown.
And my crown,
seeing
which
Rocky,
is basically just the helm. It's,
seeing Rocky's taking off his armor, I'll go ahead and cast Mage Armor. So you'll
Oh,
have
that's a good idea.
13 AC plus your Dex, plus I'm assuming you're keeping on your cloak of protection, so you'll have another
15.
yes.
That's something.
So that's better than.
Yeah.
make up your mind. Are you going naked or with stuff on?
We're gonna go with like a base layer. So like, shirt, pants.
One person does need to stay back with Liz and I, because otherwise we're gonna get jumped.
I'll put the armor
I
back
guarantee
on.
it.
Can you not stay in your hut?
Oh, that is. We'd have to be farther away though, and we only have a range of 100 feet with our familiars. After that, they're just dumb animals.
Does someone have to protect you if you don't go in at all?
We're gonna get jumped.
We could get jumped.
All right, why don't you go in? I'll put the armor back on because you're going to be way more.
I
sneaky
mean, I
than
could
me.
cast a higher level of visibility to turn us both invisible at the same time. That
That's
would
a
be
good idea.
fine.
The next people that come in for
On the bright side, that will wake us up.
It's true. It would wake us up.
I'll leave that up to you. I
So-
can stay out in guard, or you could do that.
I feel like probably
What's your dex?
12 plus 1 with disadvantage normally.
yeah. Not without disadvantage because it's not where they are.
However, I also have the blush, but I couldn't get.
That's true. That would be kind of helpful.
We polymorph 2D.
Grizz is naked at the door waiting for you all.
We're ready. We're gonna send straight in.
We could.
Still polymorph me into a pet.
Okay, and wait an hour, and I'm assuming we've waited an hour to turn Tinsel into
Correct.
back.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could always. I
We're
mean,
ready.
we could always have Plan B where we send those two in the familiars, and if we need to go in, we need to go in.
Yeah, but it'll be more guns blazing, so I don't think either of
Exactly.
us are gonna be very
We
stealthy.
can't do that.
We can't. We'll have to try our best to be stealthy too.
I do have alter self, and I can like do that, and then just act like I know what I'm doing, and especially since we'll have seen it before to an extent, but that probably won't work very well.
Just imagine
We'll have to try something.
Or Brian, he walks around. Morning. That's the mustache. Nobody else did.
You got money for fake mustaches.
yeah. yeah. All right.
So, what's the overall plan? Am I staying?
Yeah, you stay guard them.
I'm staying in guard.
You're
Armor
gonna be
backup.
their backup.
We're
We're going in with her familiar and his familiar.
gonna be Plan B if something goes wrong.
So I'm going to be
You
invisible.
guys-
You're gonna
you
be
guys just
naked.
second
You're
clothes
gonna
on.
You're gonna be invisible. You can wear what you want.
Okay.
Just not heavy.
Yeah.
I don't have heavy armor.
So okay.
I'll have my shield on my back.
So I'll go
Oh.
ahead and
I'm gonna reach into my bag, and I'm gonna grab. I have 2 lengths of rope, and I'm gonna give one to you because you're gonna be a back, so you can't carry it, just in case you need it.
So I'm just really curious. This is just a DM question. If you can only maintain a psychic link with your familiar for 100 feet,
yeah, there's
what are you
layers.
going to do when they go under the ground more than 100 feet?
They're just dumb animals.
they
I presume we can tell them like. do
I'm
a
just wondering,
thing
how far down do you think this is?
farther than that.
500 feet at least.
So
Okay.
well then I guess we don't have to worry about speed. Well actually we'll know.
I just don't really want you guys to have to waste spell slots and put yourselves
Just
in
enough
weird
to.
danger
Just send us to.
if you don't have to.
I think
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll let you guys do whatever you want to.
well
But
here, how
Well,
about
the
this?
familiars don't cost spells.
How about
right,
this?
they don't, but it does
I'll
put
keep-
you in danger while you're concentrating.
Yes, I'll keep Benji up. And then you can send Tinsel in. And then I mean we can think of some sort of symbol. I'm assuming they're smart enough to understand because they can understand us.
Mhm.
Is it reasonable to say
We give them.
that we give them a some sort of signal from one of you two that says they can come back within that 100 feet range and telepathically link that there's something wrong.
Is it
Mhm.
that season?
Honestly,
That's it.
And that's it, folks. Stream's over. We're going home.
So I can say the spell slot, or I can say the 3rd level and just cast 2nd level invisibility
That's
on
fine. We
Skriz.
don't need any familiars.
Yeah.
It'll just be me and Screens.
honestly, the familiars.
Polymorph my ass up. Let's go.
The familiars are more if within the 100 feet, if something goes wrong, they can tell us.
Yes, so
that
it's
we'll know.
basically
We're
like
gonna be dead. Yeah.
either
I
way.
know. It'll die with it, and then we'll be like, oh, okay, they're dead.
Yeah. So
So we're not sitting here wondering.
I
Okay,
just think we
alright,
send
let's
in
go.
one familiar.
Well, Screens.
Just
Yeah.
Everything.
we'll just
The
send we'll
married
just send
couple
them
back
back.
together. Get the band back together.
All right. Chris puts all his clothes back on, puts a shield on his back, and he changes the face on the shield of faces as he's walking in. It's on his back and it has his tongue sticking out.
Visibility only has an hour. You guys only have an hour to work with for invisibility.
Invisible.
But so
Well,
just
before
it's a warning.
before you turn
I'm
invisible,
letting-
you just see the shield go.
I'm just warning Skriz that you guys only have an hour in the visibility. So
So
think
who
our
is
aim
who
would be
is invisible?
polymorph.
Skriz the only ones.
Okay.
They're polymorphed into a bat,
For an hour. Only an hour.
also for an hour. So for both of you guys basically have an hour to do this.
So you're giving a briefing like Skriz. You're
Yes.
okay. If I only learn how to tell time,
It's okay. You have Elvin with you.
good to go.
This
Elvin's
is gonna
like,
go great.
yep, it's gonna be
All right,
awesome.
Citizen, we're ready to start the channel.
All right, casting polymorph.
So the bat's.
I think you just go in.
Is he already polymorphed?
I guess so.
And I'm invisible.
Mhm.
And if that's you, and the shit hits the fan, biting your head off.
Okay, I think-
Saw that act at one of the Raptors concerts.
Crazy train center.
Oh, the bats can hide in your pocket while you're invisible. Would that work? Because the contest assume like
Yeah,
at least
everything that's attached to them,
yeah, at least for a
Yep.
little
Everything
bit.
that he is touching or wearing is invisible. Well, not touching. He has to be wearing.
Wearing it. Yeah,
Okay, so
that
I'll
makes
take
sense.
your familiar, stuff it in the pocket. I will grab you and stuff you in my face.
Oh man, bats probably have really like a lot better smell than what Elvin's used to as well. Elvin's like,
He is used to dealing with dead things.
That's true. That is true. He definitely has that advantage there.
The safe word didn't work.
Okay, so you take the bats and put them with you.
Yeah.
The two wizards and Rocky and Invisible Skriz.
Are there any like benches around that we can just sit on, like in the lobby?
They're just there.
You guys are not in the building.
We're
You
not
guys
in
are
the
still outside the building.
Oh, still outside.
You guys are still outside of the gates actually before you even get into the building. You haven't even been into the courtyard yet.
Like, bring bottles around like
Because-
drunk.
No access permitted without the champion's pendant.
We'll have to get in with the champions.
Okay, and then like
But they will let you into the courtyard.
So
They didn't say that the front door would be open though.
that's fair. So okay. Well, we'll have to go up to the gate. Is there like people at the gate?
Yes, there are two guards. They look to be Orzhov paladins.
Okay.
So I'm already invisible.
Yeah, they can't see your
Yeah,
ass.
They can't see you right now. So we'll go up and I mean, okay.
You see them there decked out in basically like golden armor with like big, long, flowing white capes, and they have like black types of clothes underneath of their armor. They have like on the full face masks.
Hello, gentlemen.
Are you here for the challenge?
Yes, we are here. For
Present your champion's pendant.
I'll hold up the pendant.
Do you understand the rules of the contest?
Can you just do a quick recap, just in case we miss anything?
You must get inside one of the vaults and take something.
We let him know what that something is.
No?
Okay, great. Then we understand the rules.
Do we have to come like bring it all the way back?
You
Same
have to
rules,
get
or
in
just
and back out.
back out.
Okay.
What are the other rules?
You cannot harm any living thing inside.
What is defined as living?
Flesh and blood.
Flesh and blood.
So not like they're living, but like they're living. How y'all doing?
It's very vague the way that he said it.
So they can have any kind of quality of life as long as they're breathing. You can't hurt 'em.
Pretty much.
if we find undead, we can't set them on fire.
Undead are not living.
Okay, you said flesh and blood. Just making sure.
All right. Then I guess we're ready.
Anything else?
Don't get caught.
Sounds like a plan.
Tip.
I think when he says that, Chris, don't worry about that.
You can't see his face, but he does look confused.
So before we actually do this, I'm gonna grab everyone and pull them aside so no one else can hear. And I'm gonna remind everyone, because I just remembered, invisibility is a touch spell, and I can cast touch spells through my familiar. So if I need to refresh
Yeah.
invisibility before I go poof, and my tinsel turns into a dumb animal, I can do that.
All right. Let's do this. I go back up and
So you hold out the champion's pendant, and the guard looks at it. He holds out his hand and he focuses some sort of energy or some sort of a magic spell to recognize the pendant, and then he unlocks the gate, and he grants you access to the courtyard of Warzova.
All right.
The courtyard itself is surrounded by big black iron gate. It's similar to the structure at the mansion down in the Undercity. Except that the building is not a mansion. It's a massive cathedral. It looks like Notre Dame. It's got massive spires that come off of the sides and the back parts of it. You see all sorts of stonework statues that look like winged beasts and horned monstrosities. On a few of the spires, you see complete carved by hand stone statues of what appear to be various different types of angels. A few figureheads within the Orzhova. And on the main structure, on the tower that's sort of like in the center of it all, it definitely has like a pinnacle to it. That this is like the centermost part of the building. Throughout the years, it looks as though many things have been added onto it. You can actually see where some of the architecture does not match, meaning it was probably some sort of an addition. Elvin knows from being a member of the Orzhov that they started building down, not up, after a few years. They added more into the ground and the underground. And all of it is lavish. None of it feels like a dungeon. Even though it's underground, even though the sun doesn't see in places of Orzhova, none of it seems like a dark, dreary, damp place, even though there are ghosts all about. And vampires. The center tower, the pinnacle, the top, has a large flag hanging off of the very peak of it, off of a small flagpole that doesn't reach quite up to the heavens, and it's the Orzhov symbol, the black crest sun, with like black fire around it. The statues themselves at times seem as though they are moving as you approach up to the front of the building. And you know that from your previous encounters in the Belheim Church, that gargoyles are not an uncommon thing that they use to protect themselves with.
All right. So, right off the bat, do we see anything that's maybe of danger in the courtyard itself?
Make a perception check or an investigation check.
A 23.
Everything here looks like it could come to life and hurt you.
Okay, good to know.
Every single statue, and there are many statues, it reminds you of being in the Temple of the Nephilim when you were in the chamber and you saw all the petrified statues. It looks like that, but there's the courtyard itself actually looks more structured. There are more duplicates. They form almost like these columns and rows of statues. There's no fountains. There's nothing quite that grandiose there, but there are several large statues that line the courtyard, and then there are several smaller ones that form these like. As you are looking, even though you have never actually met or seen the Obzedat, you assume that the statues, the large statues, are representatives of the Obzedat in their living forms.
Good thing we're keeping Rocky with us.
The large statues tower roughly 15 to 20 feet. The smaller statues just look like human-sized on small pedestals. And they look like various different people, maybe throughout Orzovian history. They look like church figures. Some of them even look sort of like debt collectors like Elvin. They have that sort of like armor, that real light armor and almost thuggish look to them. But it's like the who's who, like of the Orzhov.
Well, do you think we should? So the doors are closed on the actual building right now, right? Okay. Do you think maybe
It's a large set of double doors, and it appears to be the biggest and easiest entrance in. There are several other windows and things on the upper spire levels, and on the upper floors. It looks like there's at least 4 or 5 floors that it goes up, not counting the belfry towers. And you do see that a couple of the towers are actual, just like that bells in them, like church bells.
Do you think maybe we should try looking around for a sneaker entrance?
Yeah.
For them. So, I guess it would benefit us to all try and look for an entrance. Probably try and stick together.
So there's the front door there,
Yep.
and you guys are gonna look for.
Yeah. At least for now. I mean, you could try and go in through the entrance if you want to turn
Then we
double.
can see what you're doing.
Yeah, we
I-
can't see really. We don't know
No,
where you
yeah.
are. We don't even know where you are.
Yeah. So you got Benji right.
Yeah, we're keeping him with us. So
I'll
You
be
guys-
staying with
yeah.
you. It's just us.
It's just-
Tinsel is with
yeah,
you
we're
guys.
So while
only
you guys
inside
are looking
that.
around, I'm like, and I walk up to the front door and just open it.
The door's locked.
makes sense.
Then you hear, fuck.
Yeah. What the hell? Just goes.
I'm gonna search around too for another entrance.
I searched, but I did not find it.
I will also search.
Where exactly are you searching? Above, on the same level? How far do you want to go around? This is a pretty big building.
Guess we can start on the same level.
I think I'd probably look for stairs that go downstairs, like to a more basement area.
Maybe like a cellar. That makes sense.
I'm
Or
gonna
if one of
look
the
for something that
flagstones
goes
is
up.
a secret.
They
door.
might do something that
Yeah,
throws
maybe
you
secret
off,
entrance
like
to take a
going
slide.
Well, go up to go down.
Yeah, but
Maybe
that's
they
one
might-
more floor that you'd have to maneuver.
But I'm just saying they
Yeah,
might have
with
it
pants.
like a little
Do
deception.
you see out of? I mean, if you want to poke your head out of his
Yeah.
thing, you can. Sure.
Do I see any?
Well, you
You
actually
should see a bad hit.
Do I see any of the like? I guess I don't know. Bank clerks like moving around, like going towards like the back.
It doesn't look like business as usual right now. It looks like the bank is closed.
Does it look like there's even lights on inside?
It looks like there is faint light,
This
maybe
is
from
the same place I
fireplaces.
went after the Belfast, right?
Mhm.
Same place.
So
So
we
I know where the elevator is.
Yes, you're familiar with the ground floor.
I'm gonna try to ratty Tui this bitch. I'm going to.
Can he be
I
like?
can't talk to him.
Oh, you can't even talk to him.
No,
No,
but
you can chirp.
you can chirp. You can like tug.
Oh, the door's locked.
Yeah.
So we have to
The
find a
door's
way in.
locked. Get it.
Yes.
We have to
I
find
already
another
checked
way
the
in.
door. Joe, didn't think about that. I'm gonna go back up to it and try to pick the lock.
You just see this thing.
Do you have thieves' tools? I would also allow tinkerer's tools,
Yes,
as
I
long
have
as you are
tinker's
as long as you are proficient with.
Yes, I have thieves' tools, tinker's tools, and also to help it along, I would like to use diabolism on the lock. I'll just put my finger towards the keyhole and just cast that enough to. Since it's metal, it's probably not going to break it, but it'll at least make it rust up and make it more help break down a little bit. And then use my
Mhm.
thieves' tools.
So as you get down towards the lock to attempt to start casting spells, you notice that when you get your hand close to the actual locking mechanism, that your fingers and hands become visible.
Shit.
As you pull them away, your hand becomes invisible again.
All right, before I put the tools in, I'm going to back up and
Elvin, make a perception check. Since you are a bat presently.
Critted.
Let's do 20. 30.
You hear bats up in the bell towers above.
Interesting. Which one your kin?
You hear like they're sort of chirping and fluttering, and they sound almost as though not that you know a ton about bats, but they sound like they're getting ready to go out for the night.
You'll
Chirping Marvin Gaye.
so where he's kind of standing. I'll instantly fly right out of the entrance of his codpiece like zipper, and I'll fly right out of it like a dove. And I'll fly up to the top.
Which bell tower would you like to fly towards? The east wing or the west wing, or the? It's not really the north wing, but it's like kind of in the middle. You actually kind of once you started hearing one, it sounds like they're in all the bell towers.
I'll fly towards the north.
Okay. It's just underneath, like, of the massive spire in the middle. That tower goes up for probably almost 100 feet by itself. But the bell tower only goes up maybe about 50 feet. And so you fly up, looking around and making your little chirpy noises. And as you kind of approach the roof of the bell tower, like the overhang or the underhang of the bell tower, you look in there and there's probably like 4 or 5 dozen bats all hanging up in there. They're just hanging upside down, clattering and chirping and squeaking to each other. Okay. From that vantage point, you can see that you can get into the building from the bell tower. There's like a hatch, but the hatch looks like it doesn't have a door on it, if that makes sense. It just opens up down into the almost like a set of spiral steps. Some of them are kind of asleep. Some of them are kind of like waking up and spreading out their wings. And
I'll kind of give it the same thing, and then there's like nose dive right down the hatch.
okay. How far down do you want to go?
How far can I go down?
Well, basically, this is a large, almost like spiral set of steps that goes all the way up to the top of the bell tower.
All the way down.
Okay.
To where I think, I guess, the best.
So as you fly down, you are basically flying parallel to the rope that is used to pull the bell. You go down and extend almost the entire 50 feet or so towards the ground floor. And at the before you hit the bottom, you kind of, where do you want to like perch or land, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if I can find the main floor.
Well, you are now inside the bell tower, and there is a door that leads into the building, you would assume.
I'll cast guidance on myself to break the spell.
Can he break the spell on himself?
I don't know.
I think you can resist to make a saving throw.
I don't think you can cast the spell to break it. if I remember
An unwilling
correctly.
creature must make a wisdom saving throw to avoid the effect.
Yeah, I think
You can hurt yourself to get out of it because you
I'll fly
have
right from the
You'll-
wall.
like
yeah,
one
'cause
hit point.
You
in the
have
back.
you have 1 hit point, and
I'll
as
fly
soon as
right
you
to the
take
wall.
damage,
As hard as I can.
you just
well, that's one way.
you
Um,
Assuming it's stone,
it
it's
is.
not gonna make noise.
It is stone.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, you fly into the opposite wall of the door, and you take 1 damage, and then you fall on the ground.
Can we roll to see if he does it good enough to take a damage? Because he may fuck it up, right?
Make an agility check.
He just has to keep repeating.
Dexterity. Sorry.
No.
What's 2?
9.
Yeah, that's ungraceful as hell. So yeah, I'd say you clatter right into it.
All right, so
You have to like, cause it's self-preservation, right? Like he's right. You normally would not want to do that. So
You'd cringe before you.
your dexterity would kick in like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
so I break the form from this fat bald vampire.
I forgot about that.
But like I'm only about 4'8".
Okay.
So I'll open up the door. I'll check like I have the wall.
The door is open. It is unlocked.
What do I see?
You are in the central tower, basically right in the middle of Orzova.
like to imagine like
It's sort of like a circular like hallway that goes around, and there are 4 pathways, north, east, south, and west. You came out the door in the middle. So I'm trying to, like, if you can kind of picture that, it's almost like a spoke, and the tower kind of goes in the middle, and there's like a hallway around, and then you can go northeast, south, or west.
I will.
You exited out of the what would be, you are now facing south.
Based on the, I would say, based on the direction, I want to try to go to where I think the main entrance would be.
The main entrance would be south.
Yeah.
You would know that from when you came in.
Yeah, so that's what.
You kind of look around and you realize that you've never actually been in this part of Orzova before. You see very plush, like almost velvet type black rugs that line. They're laced with these almost. It almost looks like it was hand stitched with gold, but you don't think it's actual gold. Just it has the appearance of gold, and the threading kind of goes all the way up and around and forms these like intricate little designs all the way down it. Some of it look like it looks more complicated than any type of like stitching and embroidery you've ever seen. It looks very fancy. Some of it is the actual symbols of the Orzhov. You see what looks to be these murals along the floor as you're walking that lead you out into it's sort of like there's several doors off to the sides. If you had to take a guess based off of what you know of this building, those are probably either some types of offices for maybe tax collectors or higher ups, somebody that was above your pay grade. They're probably not domiciles. They're probably some types of like small offices for people that come to work and just do their thing every day.
Okay.
There is another big door, probably 35, 40 feet down at the end of the hallway. It's a big wooden door with like an arch on the top of it.
So, as I'm moving through here, I'm just assuming there's probably not a lot of high level magic going on the top. I'm going to use Scoff
Mhm.
to say where, which then goes certain things in any of the offices or anything like that.
He says near. The axe points itself up to the ceilings. You look up and you see what looks to be that same sort of almost magical darkness up, and you can kind of make out the outlines of the rafters. Like I said, this looks very much, even in this part, it looks very cathedral-like. It looks like a church. It looks very much like the Belheim Church, only bigger. The ceiling goes higher.
So, without
That magical darkness is almost more like fog, and it seems to flow in and out. And every now and then you get that sense of something sort of moving along through it, almost like swimming through water, just like you did in the Belheim area.
yeah, so I won't pay no mind. I mean, act like I've been here, I'm where I'm supposed to be. I will keep walking towards the big door.
Okay.
Or I guess I'll check. I'll grab the handle.
It would be hard to tell if it's magic. It could be magic. The door's not locked, though. The door opens up into what looks to be the lobby that you are familiar with from when you first came in to go talk to the Obsidian. You can see the main entrance from this lobby. No, there's no windows like that. The curtains have been drawn on the windows looking out. You have to walk to them. Okay. Are you being stealthy or are you just going to walk? Well, you don't see anyone else around, but you do get the feeling that you are being watched. And not by one set of eyes, but by many eyes. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
old man didn't get the memo that there's no work today.
How long has it been roughly since he left us?
This whole thing has probably taken 3, maybe 4 minutes.
Never mind, then not long enough.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on.
Oh,
We don't even know where Scrizz is.
Maybe
so-
maybe 5 minutes at
yeah.
most.
If he was gone for 10 or more minutes, I could see me sending Tinsel to just see is he.
Because he's not
okay?
really like observing. He's trying to get to the main entrance.
Yeah, but it's not been long enough. So.
Like he has a mission. And you know how Elvin is. When he's focused,
Yep.
that's what he's doing.
A 7.
A 7.
Indeed.
you start to hear in your head something from your past, long before you were the Elven that everyone knows now, long before you were a member of the Orzhov. You hear a voice in your head that you haven't heard in a really, really, really long time. So much so that you almost forgot what this voice sounded like. It's the sound of your grandmother.
See, here's what he does. He adds family to your character, and then he kills.
What are you talking about? Rocky killed his own family member. I didn't.
Who did I kill?
I said, hey, what's going on with your story? He's like, my dad killed that one kid. I said, you got it.
Yeah, listen.
I think
The sound actually takes you off guard because at first it sounds like it's just in your head, like a whisper, and then you almost feel like it's coming from all around you. You're actually paralyzed for a second of just trying to hear it. And you hear the voice say a phrase that you haven't heard in a long time.
I think he's heard that more recently.
Yeah, I heard that one pretty recently.
Don't get hurt. And keep your chin up. We don't cry.
Yeah, I'll try to shake it, I guess. Try to shake it off.
Okay.
So if I peer out, did I get to peer out the window?
You stopped about halfway across the floor hearing this voice, and now it sounds like it's coming from all around you.
Air.
The Scoffbug illuminates with a energy you've never really seen before. It's bright, almost like sunlight. You get the feeling that it's all around.
I was gonna have to break the door down.
We don't. I'm assuming we can't.
Where?
Hear.
Not yet, but we might when party starts.
I'm gonna just keep walking.
You get about another 5 or 10 feet trying to shake off the sounds of this familiar voice. And you hear the voice again, only this time much more discerning. I need you to make another wisdom saving throw. This time at disadvantage.
Uh-oh. You have a disadvantage.
Because you failed the first one.
Yeah.
He's using the tiny one.
He's using the Edo one. 22.
Nice.
Okay.
It was crit.
Not on saves. You begin to hear the voice again, and it sounds much louder. And then you feel a very cold hand touch your shoulder. And you feel very reminiscent of Lila, only when you kind of turn to look, you see a spectral, bony-like hand gripping the back of your shoulder, and it's holding on to you kind of tight. You get the sense of a cold chill filling your entire body. It's so good to see you, Elvin.
Uh-oh.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
Dirty bastard.
Sounds like re-kill your grandma.
Yeah.
I would have been my dead grandma grabbed me on the shoulder. Speaking of moon,
You're not quite paralyzed, but it's very upsetting.
I'm going to kind of look down at my ring, cast command, say release.
As you go to cast your magic from your ring, it seems to fail you.
Uh-oh.
When you do turn around, though, you see nothing. when you say that phrase, you hear in your ear, "I'm everywhere, Elvin. Don't you remember you put me here? You said it was the way, and that everyone has to pay their debts."
Killed your grandma?
Oh, baby.
Wow.
Well,
I don't even feel bad.
Make a history check. Your recollection does. You do not recall this memory. You remember your grandmother. You do not remember turning her into the Orzhov.
well, I guess you should have taken it as a life lesson to always pay your debts. That's not my problem, it's yours.
It's just silence.
Disappointment. That's
Looks like I took care of that.
No more issues.
Um,
Okay.
Uh,
You're able to get to the window.
Peer out, and I see my friend.
That was enough emotional damage to deter her off.
Now, on the door itself, how close is the door to where I'm at?
It's probably 8-9 feet. Like there's a space of wall about 8-9 feet in between the two windows that are closest to the door.
So I'll walk over to the door. Is there any kind of lock on the door? Like, just like...
No.
Try to pull the door open.
The door seems to open just fine.
I'll open, knowing that probably Screen is still on the other side. I'll open it slowly, just enough to where I think Screen can kind of fit through.
I mean, that's up to you. You
Do I
don't.
see the door open?
You definitely see it open.
When the door opens,
And there's this fat.
I'd be like, "Oh,
One word. Diabetes.
the doors opens, and I recognize him from his.
Yeah, you saw
Yeah,
you saw him
he's
transfer.
All right, so I'm going to take my hand and push it through the doorway.
You're still invisible.
Okay, then I go.
So that means
And then when I go in, I let the bat out of
The bat floats around, and you have concentration on it. As the door opens, though, even that small little bit, it looks as though like a black fog rolls out from the ceiling out onto the main entrance to the building. I need everyone that's outside to make a wisdom saving throw.
uh-oh.
I'm assuming I count because I'm outside and inside.
Minus the familiars. The familiars would not need to make saving throws.
Well, that's pretty good.
If you're within 10 feet of me, you get +2.
That's even better.
Oh, thank you. I need that.
10 feet of me.
Kind of.
I got a dirty 19.
19,
17.
17,
22.
22.
y'all die.
This fog rolls around on the outside and seems to be. It moves with purpose. It doesn't move unintelligently. It swirls around you, and you feel that sense of cold, even with your concentration on that. You did feel the polymorph concentration break, though.
Yes.
You start to hear the sounds of familiar voices way off in your brains, but they seem to fade. You can't quite make out who they were. It just gave you more of a familiar feeling.
This fog is trying to mess.
Skriz, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
You did a -2, so you would.
With you,
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually
I got a
have.
9.
A 9. As soon as you enter in, you're kind of looking around and you're surveying the area and the room. You get a sense of cold fill your body, like a drafty window being open in the middle of winter. And you don't hear anything. You begin to see darkness fill the room, and it fades out everyone else around you, almost as though you have been enveloped by shadow smoke. From the shadow smoke, you hear a familiar voice of Madame Madri. And she seems to be giving orders to some of the other people in your old troupe, in your old entertainment troupe. And everything that she says just seems rage-filled and hate-filled. And as you're trying to shake off the effects of whatever is happening here, you get this very familiar sense of fear, because you always were afraid of her, at least a little bit.
Is this considered
Go on.
a charm effect?
Nope.
Make sure.
Then it goes quiet. And then you the smoke sort of parts like a curtain veil. And you look out and you're inside Madame Madri's tent. Like her main tent. And you're laying on one of the cots not long after your accident. You're looking down and you're seeing all the bandages and bruises and cuts that are trying to heal, and you just remember the excruciating amount of pain that you were in, as they did not have proper healers to attend to you. They did it the best that they could, which is why sometimes you walk with a limp, and sometimes you can't lay on your back for very long. You see Madame Madri over near her little cauldron brewing something with her very weird leather armor. Sort of almost looks like it's constantly dripping blood, even though no blood falls to the ground. You see on her side she carries two bladed weapons. One is a short sword and one is a like a dagger. They seem to emit almost like this smoke that comes off of them. She herself has a very intricate like headset, like a headpiece that goes on and wraps around almost like a twisted crown. She is striking for someone so terrifying. She has long black hair with bits of white through it, but it doesn't look like it's white from age, as if it was put there with purpose, put there not on accident. She herself looks to be a woman maybe in her mid-30s. Her face is very plain, but sort of always twisted in this weird sort of smile. Her nose sort of hooks just a little bit. She is human. But everything about her just insinuates that she's been through a lot of bad things. And she, in turn, likes to put people through a lot of bad things. She's a very thin woman. She almost looks like a corpse at times when she turns, and you can see through parts of her armor. It looks like her ribs are showing on the sides. She has long, flowing bits of red and black tattered ribbons that hang off the sides. She looks very much like a shaman or a spellcaster of some type. And you know this to be true because she's a very powerful wizard, very powerful mage. And as she is bubbling her cauldron, and you are in pain, she turns to you with this weird, twisted, almost Joker smile. Says, "Oh, did you wake up? That's good. Where does it hurt?"
I think Skriz is too scared to say anything at this point.
Well, it's time to take your medicine.
Skriz just nods his head up and down.
Good.
Still just keeps
So
nodding.
she's over there brewing, and she goes and gets like this big, large ladle and pours it into this like stopper bottle that looks filthy. And the potion or something that she put into this almost looks like green, mucky swamp water, with big chunks of something. It looks almost like dirt or mud floating around through it. And she brings it over to you, and she begins to try to pour it into your mouth. You have no idea what's going on right now.
Can I tell that he's in a trance at all?
He's
'Cause I'm
invisible.
not-
True.
Yeah, but I'm like.
You guys
right
have
there.
you guys have no idea what's going on with him. He's invisible right now.
That's
I've got blind sense with the bat.
Right. You can sense it's not blind sight though.
Yeah, but can I tell there's anything wrong?
He just looks like he's standing there. You never know that anything's wrong with Skriz. Skriz always looks like he's bored.
This is true.
I'm going to try to resist it. Like,
So you go to close your mouth.
I think at first Chris is like, and the more he looks at her, then he puts his lips together and starts clenching them tight, like you know how you just bite back on your lips.
Oh, we have to do this all the time.
And she holds your nose and basically forces you to take a breath. You do feel your nose clamp down and you're having a hard time breathing. If you want to hold your breath, you're going to start making Constitution saving throws.
I'm not going to fight it.
You go to gasp for air and she dumps this thing down your throat.
Now drink it. Drink all of it. All of the potion. It'll make you feel better.
Do I need?
This thing hits your throat and it feels like someone trying to pour hot mud down your throat. It's thick, it's ooey, it tastes terrible, even for a goblin's standards. You hear him begin to cough and gag.
Can I attempt to spit it out in her face?
You can try.
That's what I want to do. I want to fight back a little bit, and I'm gonna calm down and act like I'm going to swallow and just do a big old, it's like right in her face.
And as you go to move your head up and you go to spit this out, you spit out the nothing. You basically spit out air and it makes all of the scenery around you dissipate out and you're back in the church. And then you just hear laughing in your head of Madame Madri.
I'm going to kill her.
I, as Temple, I'm gonna chirp at him, land on his shoulder, and just sort of like pat the side of his cheek. Like I know something's wrong. I don't know what.
Yeah, the bird comes up to you. Well, bat. The bat comes up to you.
Ignore it for now. I'm still like thinking about Madame Madri.
Okay. Now, all of this happened in the span of about 4 seconds.
sounds about right.
Just like combat.
Is this fog still around?
It seems to be floating across the ground, but it's very low. And it seems to flow up into the ceiling in parts, too.
Chris, where we are right now, but do your best to think happy thoughts. Not about bad things you've done or what bad things have been done to you.
Are you saying this out loud? Oh, and you hear a voice kind of fill the echoey chambers up above. You're going to talk about bad things.
You know,
You've put more people in here than anyone. Now you come into my home to try to steal from me.
No.
I'm following what the challenge is. Take something. What the difference is I'll give it back.
If
Unlike
you
how
get there.
You're just like my grandmother coming to talk to me. A figment of my imagination.
Oh, I assure you I'm very real.
You're not gonna make me.
Do you need further proof? You feel a like a poking in your back, like a large finger, like poking into you and shoving. I'm very real, and I can touch you whenever I want. That wasn't my instructions.
On no fact.
Good luck.
Is there a door that we see to get out of here?
There are two other doors besides the door that Elvin came through. Elvin came through basically like the central door. There is the left door that you went down to go see the Obsidot before. It's right next to like a little window, almost like a ticket booth where someone normally would sit to like admit people in. And then there's another door that you think might be some sort of like utility closet or maybe a spot for cleaning supplies.
I'll relay that to Skriz. All right, we're gonna go left here. Go to that little telebooth, and there should be an elevator. We're gonna kind of walk the same path. From all we know, where I was at, underneath of there, is the vault.
What's the point of being invisible? Somebody's gonna stand right next to me and talk to me the whole time.
You guys still want to do this?
He might not be standing next to you. He might just be talking knowing that you're
Yeah.
around.
You guys still in this? Just you two?
All right, I will follow you.
You're going to go to the left-hand door. Okay. And what is the rest of the group doing?
I haven't been shaken yet, so I'm still as Tinsel. I'm now flying with them.
I think I was still looking for a staircase that goes down.
Around the outside of the building?
Probably, yeah.
Make an investigation check.
I think it would probably be helping at this point. Make my own.
As long as someone is making sure that no one's going to slit my throat at the same time.
That's fair. Yeah, mine's not better.
You search and the whole time that this is going on, and as you watch Elvin kind of go down the steps, and you're not sure where Skriz is at because you can't see him, you don't seem to see any sort of like steps down or anything like around the back. In fact, it seems like it's very difficult to get around to the back side of the building from the courtyard.
Well, I think that's all there is. I hope they found a way in.
Guess just wait.
I'm assuming that I'm periodically, every once in a while, not all the time, popping back, telling them what's going on, and popping back
Mhm.
into Tinsel.
So you descend down in the very familiar set of spiral steps. They're large and winding down. It's not a narrow hallway. Again, this does not give you the dark, dank dungeon feel. There are large, beautifully sculpted sconces on the wall holding magically lit flames. They sit above the staircase on the way down, probably 20 feet above your heads, and they're able to put off a lot of light in this very dark place. The shadow darkness around you seems to flow all through the empty spaces where you're not walking. And you see through it sometimes, and you can see glimpses of the ceilings or the walls or the lower levels beneath you. But it's never quite solidified. It's never quite always there.
As we descend, I'll cast Bless.
Okay. Do you have to be able to see everyone?
I
think it's-
just have to touch.
I think it's a touch spell.
So who are you casting it on?
I'm assuming it's for second pure.
Yeah, but
Can you?
can you hear him walk?
It
Can
just says
you?
within range. Touch or see or anything.
Oh, really?
What's the range?
30 feet.
So as long as you are within 30 feet, you will gain the benefits of it.
Okay,
So I'll keep walking down.
I will give him bardic inspiration while I'm thinking about it.
About to get like a +10. Like, I'm trace. But
Doesn't help when you roll a 1, though.
yeah. So I'll make my way down the staircase, and I have a general sense of like, okay, we're almost towards where I was at, where I had the meeting.
As you descend, you get this feeling that you've gone down further than you did before, but you have not reached the area where the Obsidot chamber was at. It strikes you as odd as you continue just to descend this set of steps. I need you to make a perception check.
I'd also like, while he's doing that, keep an eye on the bat. Make sure that
It's still me.
Yes.
I was gonna ask how far down we are. How far away?
They're pretty far. They're almost out of your range.
I will keep the bat within range, and if I feel like it's going back to no connection, I'll just grab it and put it in my pocket. That way it's just not
21.
on its own somewhere.
You suddenly get the feeling that the staircase is moving.
Side to side, up and down.
No, it's like you're walking on an escalator that you never are descending. You just continue to move your feet.
Is there a handrail?
That's not very safe. To get on that.
Just jump down the stairs.
Just infinitely fall. One
You didn't notice it at first, but as you take a step down, you kind of feel as though you can hear the sound of brick on brick kind of sliding, very, very slightly. Some good stuff.
Damn, I'm good.
Fuck yeah.
I will,
Good job, DM.
I'll handle my wing.
Okay.
And I'll get off the stairs and fly down.
All right, so you see his spectral flowing wings come out of his back, and he jumps off the thing. What are you doing?
I know.
You'll lose the glass as soon as you get put out of it.
As soon as he goes up in there, I'll jump up and grab his legs.
Okay. Make we'll call it an acrobatics check.
Oh may die.
Yeah, bless.
Thanks for
You blessed.
Yeah, that's not going to help that much. How much is bless?
A D4.
So I have a possibility of 6.
It was an
Oh,
acrobatic.
acrobatics?
Acrobatics.
Never mind. I'm up to 8.
See, 11. That's
11.
Okay. It wasn't a hard DC. You're able to reach out and grab onto his legs, and you get a hold of one of his boots. You get a real good grip on it. It throws him off a little bit, but he's able to maintain his balance with these new wings. Are you trying to float or are you trying to fly? You want to fly up or down? As you sort of almost start to do this like nosedive spiral down below you, you lose concentration of the bat. The bat is no longer within your range, and you just veer off into the darkness. And I need you to make we'll call it an acrobatics check.
I replay
So,
everything to the group outside.
We're getting to a dark.
He is diving down into the fucking dark.
So as we're getting to its dark, I'm going to reach up and touch his wings,
Yeah, Burdick.
and I'm going to
You need it.
infuse them to make them light up. That way we can kind of see.
Can you touch ethereal things?
I don't think so. I don't know.
So I would say that you would not be able to infuse them.
All right, then does he have a weapon on his side?
Oh yeah, I mean he's always got Scoffog.
Well, I'm gonna touch Skull's Fog and turn that into a big lighted item.
Okay, Scoffog lights up. With his arcane influence on it.
Give me any help for the acrobat.
He just wants to see what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're going bright into the dark.
He's like, I'm gonna need this
We're
part.
rolling like
Oh, he rolled a 1, didn't he?
Did you say +10?
Well, I was only a few off. Well, actually, it would have been more than okay. Grand total of 12.
As you flow down into the magical darkness, Skriz lights up your weapon, and right before you were about to face plant, going as fast as you were going into pavers on the ground, you see just the faintest bit of the ground from the weapon just peer through just the slightest bit, and you draw your wings back, and you're able to not run headfirst into the ground. But you are going to, because you're going to have to kick your feet out to almost kind of land safely, you are going to take 3 points of bludgeoning damage. Skriz, you are also going to take 3 points of bludgeoning damage as he basically uses you as an air brake. Because like you were like this, and then he kicked his feet back like this to try and save you, and he used basically you to stop. Because it hurt your knees.
because I was biting you as soon as you said
Yeah, so I guess now we're on the ground.
So you have relayed this back to the group. What would you like to do now?
I just relate it to the group. You
She
guys
has
make
let
the
you know that
decision.
they are
I
under the
decide
ground
how-
more than 100 feet,
So
and she lost contact with the bat. What do you guys want to
Because
do?
you don't know if we're dead or not.
That's right.
no, Tinsel. I know Tinsel is still there. I don't know what she's doing, but I know at least Tinsel's alive.
She's warm. She's in a pocket.
Like I can't tell what she's doing.
I don't know.
Like gagging.
After we land, I will say where with stuff.
Scoffog points to the black mist swirls and kind of points all around you.
Well, Skriz, go forward.
Then an interesting thing happens as you're beginning to put your weapon away. It begins to point at Skriznet.
You liar.
I can't see. Oh no, you took damage. You're no longer invisible.
No, that's not how it works. Unless no, it doesn't.
I mean,
It's
you
only
just
when you
you
attack.
just landed on him, and you can hear him over there going, "God
Yeah.
damn it, mother!"
It's still invisible. It's only when he
Can't see it, but you know where he's at.
It's only when he attacks is when it breaks.
So like
Or
the
by
smoke
weird
kind of goes around him, and you kind of get like the vague outline of where he is at times. You have a general idea of where he is. Plus him over there, you can hear him kind of like, "Ow," and you hear like his trying to
Is there
like
any
pop his
direction
thumb
I
back
can
in.
go? Just straight.
It's hard to tell. It's dark down here.
What direction?
This is magical darkness.
So should have picked up the devil's sight.
So the only light we have is from Skalsvog, right?
Presently, yes.
Okay.
From what you remember, there is a chamber door not far from the bottom of the steps that led into the chamber of the Obsidian. You just don't see it.
I'll use Scofflog to try to use what little bit of light that I have. Try to feel around the walls. How big's the hallway we're walking?
It's not really a hallway. It's much like the bell tower that you were in. It's more like a round cylinder room. When you jumped down, you jumped straight down into basically the middle of all the steps. And before you collided, you put your feet out. Like I said, this is much bigger than the bell tower. So you're somewhere in the middle of this room. You don't remember exactly what the dimensions of the room were at the bottom of the steps, only that it was pretty wide. So you are feeling around the walls. Skriznet, what are you doing?
I'm getting up, dusting myself off. I can't flash, Joe. I mean, everybody shoots stepping stone. And I get up and just look around.
You see the same sort of like darkness around you. Bits of
Darkness is around me.
it's around everybody. It's dark down here.
Okay.
You see Scoffog off in the distance, not too far. He hasn't wandered too far away from you, but the darkness moves around like smoke, and you'll see it kind of flow around things, almost serpentine, and you'll see parts of Elvin disappear, and then it'll flow around, and then you'll see him again.
Great time for your if you had control of that one wind spell you get from your wand.
So you're saying you used a wand?
No.
All of the
can't-
challenges can be overcome by the wand of
Exactly.
wonder.
See, it has so much variety that it's just so useful.
Now, the door to Orzova is still open. Where is the rest of the party at? Did they go back to basically the main entrance? Like just
I
kind of
feel like right
standing
now
there?
we're just chilling at the main entrance.
I
Like,
feel like we should decide how long we want to wait before we go in because we don't have eyes or ears anymore.
yeah. And we don't know anything about like anything in this area either. I don't even think we saw where they went.
When after Skriz went in, did the door reclose?
No.
Okay.
So it is open a little bit.
You
And
wanna
I've-
go inside.
I've
Well-
relayed everything that they've seen so far.
You saw
I know?
you saw
Oh,
which
that's
door they
true.
went
We did
down.
see-
You
we
saw
did see
that
that.
they did go down, and then
Yeah,
you
okay.
saw that he jumped off the thing.
Yeah, and then I lost.
Then you lost contact.
But I'm assuming they didn't die, or at least I know Tinsel.
Well, at least
didn't
your
die.
familiar didn't die.
Get a little bit closer just in case they need backup. We hear screams.
Maybe
or
we could
something.
try getting close enough to get back contact too.
Yeah.
Just stay like 100 feet away.
Yeah, sure. Let's go in there just wee bit.
I feel like we should try and be quiet.
If you're gonna try to go in Quiet Lake, I'm gonna need you 3 to make stealth rolls.
I know it's not our best thing, but we might as well try. So
How
might
long
get
does
lucky.
it take to take armor off?
Do
Back up.
you have full plate or like half plate? Full plate. Gonna take like some time. It's not like a 5-minute process,
Oh,
and you'd need help.
I'll be in like 5 minutes. I'll let you guys
Well,
go
I-
first.
If
Um,
they need
let's-
help, then
I'm
we can
just-
just wait.
Yeah,
I'll
let's
just-
let's wait.
We can do that, so we can help you with that. Since it's not
Okay, since you have 2 people helping you get the armor off, I'll say that the process will take maybe 15 minutes.
Okay. You gotta pull the other way. Ah, that's my fur.
All right. While this is going on outside, Elvin, you feel across the walls. You're kind of circling around on the left-hand side as it's the closest wall to you, and you are feeling out, hoping to feel maybe a doorway or an indent or an entrance to something. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
one of those days.
Don't get the D4.
Just roll 2 ones.
You're gonna crit like every roll if we have to fight. 0.
Make it that far. I'm pretty certain this is an 8.
Have you rolled above a 10?
Actually, sorry, we're good. 10.
Well, technically, no. He's not rolled above a 10 yet.
10.
Because that's still not above.
As you reach out and you're starting to pat along the wall, and obviously you can't see Skriznet, you just assume he's around you. Your arm seems to go through the wall almost like you go into an opening.
I'm scared enough of this saving throws.
Let's be within 10 feet of me.
It's a 3 something.
Yeah, it's like you put your arm where there was wall, and then it looks like it almost opened up into like a doorway or something. You walk through the doorway. I need you to make a perception check.
Is he still within 30 feet?
We're about to find out.
He'll still get blessed.
It's blessed doesn't
You
go
already
away.
cast it.
That's just the range you need to cast it.
Hey. Don't worry, you get D4.
Did you say perception?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you're
I'm at 9.
Oh my gosh.
You turn your head around for a couple seconds, trying to see if you can use your goblin dark vision to somehow peer through this mist and black fog. And when you turn your head back, Elvin is gone.
So the light's gone, everything. So I'm going to snap my fingers and take the view object off him. And I'm like, you lost me. And now you don't get no light. So I snap my finger and take my imbue light. And
So glad I can see.
now I'm just going to be in the dark. I'm just going to feel alone. Because I don't want to light up because
Invisible.
I'm invisible. You know what?
So you are
No,
in
here's what I'm
pitch
gonna
black
do.
darkness.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a ball bearing that I have out of my pocket. I'm going to light it up. And I'm going to, like a little marble, I'm going to squat down to the ground and I'm going to roll it on the ground.
Inspiration.
I'm
As
going
you
to roll it in the direction I last saw Elvin at.
as you roll the little marble thing, it gets swallowed up by the darkness. You don't hear anything.
Well, at least you got inspiration.
So
It was a really good idea. That's
So-
why you got
as
inspiration.
soon as I see it disappear, I'm just going to be like, well, and I just walk straight towards it.
Straight towards it.
Straight towards where I saw the ball bearing disappear.
I need you to make an athletics check or an acrobatics check.
There's a pit. It's going down.
It disappeared because it went down.
Green, goblin green.
Fucking
So
beat my
close.
dog. I saw the 20 and then it
D4.
I got a 4.
That's so that plus has been
Did you
going in
say
handy.
acrobatics?
You can
Or-
pick
or-
acrobatics or athletics.
Taking acrobatics.
Plus 6 is a lot better
Yeah,
than plus
so 8, 12.
Okay, so you begin to step forward, trying to follow the marble and not really paying attention to what's going on. Don't really know where Elvin's at. And as you do, you step and your foot touches nothing for a second. And you look for just a brief second, you see your little marble rolling down into vast nothing, down into a hole in the ground. And you are able to step back and avoid falling into a very large hole.
You know, at this point, I feel like they already know we're here. They can play these mental mind games. I'm just going to take a torch out and light it. I'm done playing these. Like, I'm done. So, yeah, I take a torch out and light it.
You light it up. It lights up. You're able to see around about 5 feet around you.
I see the pit in front of me.
Oh, you see it.
I gotta empty this codpiece, man.
And as you look down into it, you're not sure how far down it goes. Because it looks like your little marble thing got enveloped back into new darkness.
Can I see if there's a ledge on the other side of it? Or
Yeah, it's basically like it's like one of the stones in the floor.
was missing,
It's just gone.
so I can walk around.
Very easy.
That's what I'm gonna try to walk.
Okay. Well, so while you're dealing with this and trying to safely navigate around this, I'm not usually good at this multi-party thing. Elvin,
Yes, Elvin's back.
you walked through some sort of a chamber.
Yes.
You hear the sounds of bricks slamming shut like around you from behind you.
Bitch.
I need you to make an athletics check or an acrobatics check.
What's with the
Well,
party?
yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
Should have just gone in.
Probably.
I put you guys in Scooby-Doo Haunted Mansion. This is great. I'm having such a good time. An 8. As you walk through this chamber in like the vast
Yeah, we
darkness,
split up just like normal.
you step down, and all of a sudden you hear this little tripwire noise kind of tink off, and the floor underneath of you goes into like a straight sliding, almost spiral. You begin sliding down almost like this twisted set of like a slide. It's the bricks no longer are smooth. They're very smooth as you're going all the way down. You're trying to hold out your arms to try and catch anything, but you can see nothing. You are in a free fall, sliding down on the floor. I need you to make another athletics or acrobatics check.
So can't I use my wings?
You've already used them once.
That's
Here comes a death for me. Here comes a death for me.
Yay!
It's about minutes.
14.
14. So as you are sliding down and plunging into this vast darkness, you know that you are not falling, you are sliding, but the incline is very deep. And you're looking for anything that you can grab onto, and the first thing you think to do is grab Scoffbog, and when you do, you hear Lila's voice in your head say, "Just believe."
I will just believe.
And as you do, your wings pop back out. And you're kind of flying in the air, and you kind of look around you, and the smoke disappears in the area around you, and there's a giant pit filled with spikes, probably about 50 feet out. It's all spikes.
yeah.
You planned that, right?
I didn't.
You peed yourself too, right?
Definitely.
As you kind of, again, it's darkness down here. You can't see anything but the glint every now and then from like some magically lit sconces of blue flames are sort of around this round chamber. You see the darkness is all around you still, so it's hard to see, and you only see traces of the blue light.
I will locate okay.
Okay.
And I'll locate the one.
What's the range?
It's
I thought it was
1,000
pretty
feet.
far.
It's 1,000 feet.
1,000 feet.
The Wand of Wonder
It's concentrated.
is roughly 25 feet in front of you.
Surprised it's not. It's a skeleton. It's a skeleton hut that has a wand.
Yeah.
of wonder.
So you fly across the pit. And as you kind of are peering through the darkness, heading on towards the signal of the Wand of Wonder, you go through what looks to be another large opening. and you come out into another area that's dark. And you kind of catch glimpses every now and then of like a torch in the dark light.
So is he still invisible when he's holding this torch?
That's up to him.
Be invisible.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it up, but the
That's
torch is
fine.
out. I mean,
That's funny.
So
All you see is the flame.
Yeah.
how close am I to the flame? Just keeps getting further away.
You, I don't know, are you continuing to walk?
I'm walking around with the torch out and above. Just
Yeah,
so I
you
can
kind of, you see this torch kind of like down on the ground, like looking
see
around at the
it's a
stone.
wisp out there.
It's just like
floating
a ghost. Yeah.
I will keep following. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that it's him.
The only
So
thing
I'm not
that
gonna
is
say
fun
anything.
wonder.
I just know.
But the Wand of Wonder, since you've located it, seems like it's like right there.
Okay. Just keep following.
Okay, so yeah, you follow him around. You can make a perception check to see if you actually can feel him or see
You
him.
just see like
Come on,
This is
green
really
dye,
funny.
don't come to this.
this is straight up Scooby Doo. I loved it.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Of course, when I don't want you to work, you roll good. Perception, I've got a 18. Oh, well, hold on.
19.
19.
You tell the Elven is behind you.
Elvin, you there?
Trying to keep everything calm.
Now, would he know? Like, he hears my voice, like, all the voices he's heard. Does he know it's really me that's calling out there?
How we get going?
Well, there's one way to tell it's Grizz.
Yeah, I guess. I'm doing good. Now, if you don't watch out in front of you, you're not going to be doing good. There's a hole in the floor.
Yeah, I found it.
No, there's another one, and I kind of like.
You kinda like-
I can't point at.
Well,
it.
you have your torch. You can go.
Yeah, I'm like
it's right
it's
here.
over there somewhere.
Okay.
Watch
So while
out.
you guys are having this little heartwarming reunion of maybe it's Skriz, maybe it's not Skriz. Man, I'm having such a great time.
I'm gonna light his crossfog back up. That way
Okay.
he has a light source.
Yeah, so your
Sorry, I
your
thought
thing
you
lights
left
back
me.
up. Party outside. We got you out of the armor now, or at least enough that you will not be rolling disadvantage checks.
Yep. Right. Good enough. Well, you think there's anywhere I can like check this so it's not just sitting in the middle of the floor? Do I see
You can
anyone
put it in my
around?
coat if you want.
That is such a good idea.
Fit in the coat?
Yes, she has a couple of very large, like the one backside of it is basically like one big hole.
Yep. Here we go.
You hear it clatter in there against some stuff that didn't sound like it's. There's other stuff in there.
Like you broke like glass shattered.
I probably should have asked beforehand. Is there anything like fragile in there?
It's all broken anyway. It's fine.
Oh, good. Well, I'm making more pieces for you then.
Yeah, it's more fun that way.
Oh, perfect. Well, let's go head on in and
That's
see
kind
what
of
we can
yeah.
do, I
Before
guess.
we walk in the door, now I'm assuming I didn't hear everything that was going on in their heads, but I can tell. I think that something happens in the mist, in the fog, right?
You all got a looming sense of something bad when the door got opened. But as far as something weird happening in the mist, no.
Okay. Then the only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach into my bag. I'm gonna pull out a blanket and I'm gonna toss it over my shoulder and carry it with me.
Okay. What's this blanket look like?
It's just an old tattered blanket.
Okay. Like a quilt?
Sure.
Okay.
And I'll cast Bless on the three of us.
All right.
Yay, bless.
And a
Claire, too?
nah, that's it.
Paladin.
Mhm.
I could have picked up bless, but I already knew that Elven had it, so I didn't bother.
So what does bless do?
Also, I'm
I mean,
concentrated.
whenever you
It adds a
roll
D4 to
for
all
that.
saving throws and ability checks.
When we're around him?
Yes, two.
No.
Or just period?
Just as long as he maintains
Yes,
concentration.
as long as concentration.
So, this is gonna be a 20.
All right. So
16.
party outside team.
Party on way.
You guys are in Orzova now.
So my AC is effectively 15 currently. If
Okay.
that matters.
When you enter into the church,
Are you wearing any armor at all?
not anything that actually
I just
provides
put
defense.
Oh,
Like,
you
just
did?
like,
Okay.
like maybe the metal bracers that
Bracers,
would
yeah.
add, maybe, but
That doesn't count.
it's not really gonna do anything.
I think it's really anything that adds
That's
AC.
what I was
The only
gonna
thing you can have a shield, but that doesn't count as armor. For mage armor, at least. But
So, I I guess we'll call you now the party inside people. I need you all to make wisdom saving throws.
Sounds about right.
+2 and D4.
And the D4.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
All right.
I mean, if you're gonna have mindfuck games, it's bad. I guess it's good for you. That
Well, actually,
it makes it
Makes it way more fun because I'm having a blast.
like if we all passed it and be like, yeah,
17. Okay. 7.
I thought mine was 12.
Well,
With +2.
It's like I got a
+2 for me.
Oh, +2. Then
See.
I got a -1.
what?
listen, she's smart.
That's fair.
I rolled a 3 and I ended up with a 12. So thank you, Rocky, for all the buffs.
Yeah.
Lizica,
Uh-oh. Okay.
you hear a voice inside of your head that sounds very quiet, like a whisper at first. You don't recognize the voice at first, yet it seems familiar to you. It's a male voice, and the voice starts to get a little bit louder and a little bit louder. Then it very much clearly starts saying your name.
Like a chant.
No, just every now and then, almost like it's asking, like with the inquiry in behind its tone, like Lizica, Lizica.
Is it just going on?
It's just every couple of seconds you hear it gets a little bit louder each time it says your name, Lizica.
So I'm just gonna wait till I'm not sure what's happening right now. Because I haven't experienced what those two have experienced with their whole thing, so I don't know what's happening.
You begin to pay more attention to the voice to see if you can kind of pinpoint it. Make a perception check.
Of course, I crit in the perception check, and yeah, that's a 29.
You recognize the voice as your voice. The reason that it sounds strange to you is you've never heard your voice when you weren't speaking.
That's true. It's like hearing a recording of yourself.
And it's probably like maybe it's your alive voice, but now your undead voice. It sounds different. It's that missing little cheekbone, and you know.
I guess at this point, Liz would just be kind of looking around the room.
Did you forget your purpose? Why are you here? This is not your end goal. Wasn't your end goal immortality? All the knowledge?
Yeah.
All that you've sacrificed, and you end up here. Such a shame. We're disappointed in you.
Who's we?
It's 4 others.
As did you say that out loud?
Yeah.
As you say that, you hear several different voices that sound like you all calling out to you.
Oh God.
All of us.
What do you mean? Who's we? We're right here.
So as this is happening,
Rocky's just completely fine.
Navinna,
Oh gosh.
you don't hear a voice, but you start to you experience something similar to what Skriznik experienced, which you didn't see. The darkness in this room starts to swirl around, almost like black smoke and mist. It blocks out and blots out all the light in the room, only for a second, and then it sort of like pulls the curtains back away, and you are in a very familiar place to you. It looks like home. You see familiar people, names of which I'm not going to give yet. But she's there. And he's there.
Oh, it's a female. It's a male. So exactly.
And it's there.
Dog
A dog or cat.
or a sheep.
That's true.
But the one that has been missing is still not there. The it lumbers and hulks around, to and from doing familiar things. And that's all you catch is like these glimpses. You feel like you're home again. You're very lost in kind of not wanting to leave.
All's well.
Man, you get that, and I get myself yelling at me.
Your home life is very happy. You begin to wonder why you even left in the first place. You start to think that maybe you'll just go home. Adventures are stupid anyway.
I have something to get back to anyway.
Then the curtain sort of fades out and you go back into the church. Your sense of wanting to see this through diminishes. Rocky. Everything's fine.
So which way did they go? Well,
Right.
yeah, snap out of it. It's dark. It's okay.
Am I done?
You just keep hearing your voices yelling at you.
I feel like at this point you just hear Liz like
You're doing the best you can to just like kind of block them out.
he's like I still hear voices and I feel like every now and then I hear him mutter like still have time. That's really all you catch.
You're muttering that?
Yeah, Liz is muttering that.
Okay. So I think, like, I feel like I've seen this kind of thing before in combat, like people getting inside their own minds and like being trapped. So I'm gonna like give Liz a nice little, like definitely doing a hit point of damage, but not trying to like break his jaw. Just like, hey, snap out of it, man. We got shit to do. You all right? You right here. Look at my horns.
Make an unarmed strike.
Like advantage because he doesn't know it's coming.
I would say yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Plus a D4. I'm a fuck. Third level divine smite.
He hits you, and you just hear in the arms.
Yeah, it's 23.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
So
Well, I didn't want to do 9 damage. I'm trying to do like
you
1
can opt to do
damage.
the minimum.
I will do the minimum.
Hit me for one damage.
1 damage.
So he smacks you, and
I keep
when he
the
does,
concentration
you-
on the invisibility. Don't worry. only because I have advantage from Warcaster. Otherwise, I would have gotten a 5.
I'm not gonna lie, this is
So
the best
funny.
section for me ever.
If you would have broke it that time, I think Skriz is down there like in front of Elvin's face. And then invisibility drops. He's like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this has been the absolute best session for me out of all
It's
the
been
challenges.
so fun. This is such a Scooby Doo.
Yeah. All right, snap out of it. Center focus here. Which way did they go?
That way.
Let's go that way.
Yeah,
And as
sure.
we walk, I reach in my pocket and I grab a tiny doll. It's even more beat up than my usual stuff. And I just sort of sit it so it's peeking out of my pocket right here. So it as a reminder.
Cool. All right, let's head that way.
Come on, Benji. Let's go.
You begin to make your way down the same spiral steps. You see that same strange darkness that seems to be enveloping all the empty spaces in this chamber. We'll be back to you in a moment. Elvin and Skriznik.
Back to Velma and
What are you doing?
or Velma. And
Are you guys Fred
Daphne,
and
that's what it is.
Daphne and Fred.
Are they Daphne and Fred?
Ruby, Shaggy, Velma.
Yep, that's what it is.
we plotted this out when they were doing some shit.
So you're Scooby and he's Shaggy and you're Velma.
I am the
That
animal.
totally fits.
Does.
And I'm Daphne.
No,
He's
he's
Daphne.
Daphne.
You're Fred.
Yeah.
You're
Fred.
Fred.
You're definitely Fred.
I need a mascot. So do I guide him around a little pitfall that was there?
Yeah, he sees it.
Okay, so I'm gonna continue walking forward with the torch up, down. Just looking all
Very
around.
cautiously.
Yes.
Okay, I like it. You continue to walk across. You see the steps. You kind of walk around the steps, and you find the bottom steps. And Elvin, you remember at the bottom of the steps, the door was pretty much directly across from the bottom steps. You see a door. It's more of a doorway, not an actual door that seems to lead into it leads into darkness because everything's dark down here.
Mm-hmm. So there's a door. I'm going to wiggle the handle on it, see if it's unlocked. Is
The door is ethereal.
that the one he walked? Oh, never mind. So as soon as I go to grab for it,
Your hand just goes right through it.
I'm going to. You know what? I'm going to speak over my shoulder to him. I'm like, well, good luck. And I dive through the door.
I grab onto his hand as he can.
Okay. Yeah.
You can't see
Yeah,
me.
yeah, you can't see him. You can see his torch, but you can't see where he's at.
So yeah, before I dive in, I throw the torch in first, and then I dive in after
Got
the
it.
torch.
So you see the torch kind of go, and then it disappears in the darkness.
Well, so when I see the torch throw it, I'm gonna just instantly fly straight in because I'm figuring he's going in alone, even though he threw it.
Okay, so you fly over him.
Yeah.
You're still behind him.
So do I feel him go over me?
You feel something go over top of your head.
So as before, so before I dive through, he goes over my. So he goes over the head as soon as he sees the torch, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna catch myself before I dive through. I'm like, "Rrr." And then
You're not Daphne. You're Scrappy. You're definitely fucking Scrappy.
So as soon as he goes through, I'm just gonna slowly walk through the door.
Like, you have these moments where people like your character, and other moments where people are like, "Fuck Scrappy, man. He just ruined the show."
So yeah, as soon as he goes over, I'm gonna hold myself back from diving through and slowly walk through now.
Okay. So Elvin, you go through, and you find the torch. You're not sure where Skriz is at, but he's not holding the torch anymore. And you kind of come up from behind. You're not sure what exactly flew over you. You didn't see it.
Do I see him now in front of me?
Yes, now you can see him because he's holding this torch.
He has my torch.
And Scofflog is lit up.
So I'm gonna walk up to him and grab my torch and take the lead again.
You feel something grab the torch out of your hand and just start moving.
All right, so just kind of with the torchlight, what do I see in here?
Darkness.
Darkness.
Mhm.
So the light doesn't produce anything else. There's nothing in this room.
The light only goes out sometimes between 5 and 7 feet around you. Because magical darkness is awesome. Party inside, people. I need one of you to make a perception check.
Only one.
Only one or
Yeah, whoever has the highest passive perception.
16.
13, 18 if we're using investigation.
No, passive perception.
So
Yeah,
16.
13.
So I'll let you two decide who gets to roll the perception check.
I think you said it was yours.
I have a +6 to my actual modifier.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a D4.
Don't forget that D4.
17. So only one higher than my passive.
You hear the very faint sound of stone on stone. You feel that you've been walking down the set of steps for a very long time, and that you're not sure how you're not to the bottom, or maybe seeing something, stairway off, ledge way off, just nothing. You get the sense that the stairs are actually moving.
I don't think we're going down.
walking down. It's just a long ass staircase.
I think the stairs are moving against us.
Do you need another slap?
Listen. You'll hear it. Don't you hear like stone against stone? Doesn't it sound like it's moving?
I hear hoof against stone.
Can I use locate object on? I just pick a stone. I use locate object and see if it's moving. If that makes sense.
You're using one of the steps.
Yeah, I'm just aiming at one of the steps. Basically, I want to see if it's moving.
Are you familiar with the step?
Well, I assume I looked at it.
Okay,
I think as long as you look at it.
sure.
Steps.
It's not moving while you guys are standing still.
And
How
then
about
if we walk.
start moving?
You feel that it moves above you.
Okay,
Okay.
so they're moving.
Checks out. We go past the step. It's above us. I think we
So
just
we're
keep
just-
going.
We're just walking in place.
Well, if you were going down, the steps would be above you.
And it's above us, right?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a long staircase. I mean, you know.
I'm going to give you inspiration too because that was clever. But going down a set of steps would give you the same result.
Okay.
Would I still don't? That doesn't prove it for me. I still think that we're not getting anywhere. Yeah, I'll push rock.
Yeah, I'll just
Yeah,
push,
that'll work well.
let's push
8
Rocky
strength.
down the steps.
I'll go like
Fine.
Put
From
a
this vantage point, though, if you try to reach out to your familiar, you are within range of it.
Okay, so in that case, I'm gonna go tell them that I'm doing this, and I assume we're gonna stop because I can't walk and do it at the same time. And I'm gonna pop in and chirp at you guys.
So the bat begins to be more communicative than it has been in a while, just chirping and
So I'll
flapping.
let him out of the pocket.
What are you telling your bat to do?
Pop out of the pocket, and I can't see you. Can I see you?
What?
No,
You
I have
blind
blind
sense,
sight.
so you can sense where he is.
Okay, so I'm gonna pop out and sort of chirp.
That
and,
might
like,
be helpful in this
Well,
situation,
it's
though.
male-
because
Yeah,
all
the
fog-
blind sight would get through magical darkness because
Yes.
you, as long as your bat can hear, you can sense where things are at.
That's very
I'm
Do
gonna-
good.
you see any?
Well, they can't
Do you see any?
like
Bat?
Yeah.
the
Bat
bat.
sees all kinds of stuff.
The bat can sense the room, but we can't. The bat can't talk, so you guys can't know. But
So you go, do you see anything? The bat's like, motherfucker, yeah, I see all kinds of shit. But it comes out,
So we hear it squeaking at us, right? And we're going,
Man, I really wish I would have picked up the sentence.
You can't speak back.
he does not speak bat.
I'm going to just kind of ask out. Do you see any kind of vault, any valuable items, anything? I'm thinking if we just steal something, the Orzhov own all. So this whole thing is their vault.
Just steal a brick.
We can steal anything.
Crumb on the ground.
Yeah.
Where you're currently at.
I mean, that's not fine.
frustrated.
Anything of value.
Again, frustrated.
Can you
The bat has a very difficult time communicating to the group.
can you fly to something that's valuable?
I mean, you control the bat, so
Well, I don't know what's around me. I
you,
can't.
you can see the hallway that they can't see. The hallway goes out into a very large chamber. And also goes back towards the stairway.
Okay. I'm
Well, one
going
direction
to-
goes towards the stairway, one direction goes towards what looks to be a large opening.
can we use the bat to send her back to go grab the? I'm guessing if they're within range.
Well, you guys would have to go with me because I don't know how you guys got to where you are. I don't know where
Yeah,
you
we
are.
don't know how you got to where you are.
Backhand. Oh yeah, it was in my pocket the whole time.
You
And
guys,
I
have-
couldn't
you
hear
guys
or
basically
see
go
anything.
back up the stairs by us if you
Um,
want us there, or we're at to find our own way.
I'm
to
So
going-
since the bat's finally chirping now, it's finally chirping at us. I'm assuming we know they're within range. Again,
You feel that, from what you have seen, that probably. I would say just based off of perception, yeah.
So can I tell?
this is what we've done.
I'm going to land and thumbs up.
The stairwell, if you're close, the stairwell, you need to fly down, but be careful. 'Cause you might hit the floor if you don't have some light. So if anybody can fly, once you get down here, kind of feel around on the walls. There's going to be an ethereal door. That's where we are. Watch out for a pit. Pit in the floor.
I didn't bring the fly spell today.
So I'm gonna pop back and relay this to the second team.
Sure.
Rope.
I have rope and he has rope because I gave him one.
We could try maybe using a rope to get down.
I also, if we need, oh, question. I have a blanket. I have animate. I can animate.
Mhm.
Can I?
Where is it going?
Oh, yeah.
Can I essentially turn it into a flying carpet?
Yep. That's what I
For
thought.
one, I assume, because it's only a medium size.
A flying carpet? No, not unless you actually cast fly on it.
I mean, I would have to.
But you'd
like,
have to cast
tell it where
fly
to go.
and animate. I would
Well,
say
it
that
flies
you
if it
could
doesn't have
maybe
wings. Or like
make it into like a almost like a parachute you could land into. Like
Well, if
if you send it towards the bottom because it moves, you could kind of command it to floof out and maybe you could land in it. I would say as a flying carpet, no.
it does say if it doesn't have legs, it can fly. It's the only reason why.
Correct.
Okay, just make sure. Okay. So that's a no. Let's see.
But I mean, it's like a blanket.
Yeah.
It's not like huge.
I had to ask.
And again, I can't give you inspiration again, but I would say that you could kind of command it to go down towards the bottom and maybe catch you.
Use my immovable rod and put it against a step and click it to see if that stops the steps from moving.
Ooh, that is also clever. Inspiration.
I wanted to use this for something that it would actually work for, and it didn't work for the word. So
this is
does that help?
Putting the rod on the steps are not able to move. You hear
Ooh.
the sound of grinding almost on
That's
metal on metal.
good. I like that.
All right, now when we're coming back up, don't forget to remind me to pick that back up.
True. Yeah.
So it was.
Can I kind of take a second to inspect this fog and see if I can? It's moving around and stuff and seemingly messing with me. Can I just see if it's maybe like some sort of creature or alive in some way?
You would have no way of knowing.
That's fair. Can I try casting Word of Radiance, seeing if any sort of radiant damage might affect this fog at all?
I mean, you can always try.
I want to try it, see what happens. Because it's more of like a, I don't know, light thing.
As you cast Word of Radiance, brilliant bolts of radiant energy stem out from basically your symbol, and they flood out across the floor. You hear the sound of something shrilling and shrieking, and the smoke and mist seems to back away from it.
That's good.
from radiant damage.
That's good. Good to know. Man, I like being a cleric.
So, heal.
Well, that's good to know. So I guess we can progress forward.
Yeah, if you want me to smite the smoke, you let me
So
know.
if we need to see more, maybe we can use this in specific areas.
Can you just keep casting that, or
I mean,
is
it's a
it-
cantrip, so
That's
might as well.
keep going with it?
I have my goggles of what are they called?
Goggles of Night.
Yeah. Do they work in like the magical darkness or not?
In magical darkness, no.
I'm assuming no.
Yeah,
Okay,
they just
thought I'd
work
ask.
like normal.
They just give you dark vision.
There's very few things that go through magical darkness.
But
So-
every time that you cast the Word of Radiance, you hear what sounds like this loud shrieking noise, as if something's in pain, as you basically take a step and then you radiate out energy, and it kind of clears the path. I'm going to give you inspiration if I haven't already as well. And you are able to catch up with your friends, and you guys see all this radiant light pouring out, and after a few cast of this spell, the swirling dark mists around you begin to like fade out, and they don't want to be anywhere near your group.
How y'all doing?
Hey guys.
Where the fuck have you been?
Well, we was standing guard, and then
So this chubby little bald vampire is yelling at you in Elvin's voice. I just want to point that out.
It's a pretty good image.
So you turn around, the group, they show up.
You're still invisible.
I'm still
too.
invisible.
Yep.
He turns around like I'm leading, so I just throw down the torch. I turn around, and is the place lit up? Now we can see without the torch.
Yeah, all the sconces are up.
Oh, so yeah. As soon as he turns around, it's like, where the fuck have you been? I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna use my cantrip and like, bloop, touch his clothes with diabolism and
It makes them rot, correct?
yeah.
Anything non-magical that you're wearing just rots and falls off of it.
What's that tomorrow?
No,
Just like your clothes.
Just,
your
just
clothes.
basic clothes.
basically your pants and your shirt and
Gotcha.
Where the fuck?
I quickly cast minor illusion to cover that up because nobody wants to see that.
wow.
I didn't know you had a tattoo.
And then I'm gonna turn around and start walking down the hall. Do we see anything down the hallway?
The hallway opens up into a large circular chamber. Elvin, you recognize this chamber as the chamber of the Obsidian.
So, are we close down here, or what?
I mean, I think we'll get warmer. Well, we
Oh,
have
cool then.
we have that big opening over there
Looks like
that
we're
we
going
can
for
go
a minute.
into.
And that's the vault.
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly. Haven't you been down here before?
I've never been in the vault.
Well, let's keep heading there and keep doing the radiant thing along the way, just in case.
I'll keep it on hand because right now the fog seems to have backed off. So
And if you guys see any don't talk to them.
okay,
Okay.
sure. I'm planning on it.
So
So
you are entering into this large circular chamber. It's probably 50 foot in diameter. It's huge. When you walk in, you walk across what looks to be it's not a narrow platform. It's almost like a bridge that it goes out into a large circular stoneworked tile. Around the edges of this chamber is a very large, like a balcony almost. Elvin, you recognize this immediately. You see several chairs that are sort of at the head of this chamber. The circular symbol on the stonework floor is the Orzhov insignia. It lights up with this sort of like faint whitish blue glowy energy as you enter onto it. You are standing in the chamber of the Obsidian.
Do we see anything of value while we're in here? At all?
You don't?
Not yet.
Nope. You just see the stone ceilings and floors and walls, but the shadow stuff is no longer blocking your view of anything. It doesn't want to get close to your party.
Do we see like adjacent rooms that may hold?
You
value?
see
Things
what
like
looks
in
to
the
be
vaults?
as this sort of circular room. It kind of goes up. It almost looks like a tower underground. If that's the best way I can describe it. And there are no actual stairs that lead up to the tops of this, but there are doors all around. Metal doors with big locks on them.
Can I cast locate object and say gold?
That's pretty generic
Too generic? Got it.
because it might detect the gold in Rocky's pocket or Elvin's pocket.
So no one would-
He's like, I'm what
sorry,
they call
gold
a
is
baller.
beneath me.
Elvin, you did not recognize this part of the Obsidian chamber before when you were here. You did not see all these doors. It was as if the darkness that was following you all through the building was blocking this out from your view when you were in here and had your council with the members of the Obsidian.
So now the fog's gone.
Where?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Do that.
Scoffog points at the chairs.
Chairs. Uh-oh. Go. The council's watching us.
Then it points at the ceiling.
Interesting.
Can I cast locate objects for blood money?
I would say that's not specific enough. I would say don't waste the spell slot, correct.
Are there any of those doors on the first floor?
Yep.
Can I just go up to one?
There's a few on the like outside edges of the like the balcony, but there's no stairs to get to them.
And how high?
The gap that you guys are between here and the balcony is it's probably like a good 25-30 feet.
All right, Skriz, are you ready?
Like wherever he looks, I'm the complete opposite. I'm like, Predator what?
Yeah, you definitely still can't see him.
I'm just keeping my concentration because why not?
Skriz, you remember when you were flying?
So now I moved to a different spot. Yeah.
Well, you want to fly again?
Sweet.
All right, come over here.
I walk on the other side of you.
Right here.
I jump on his hand.
I'm shot put him up and try and get him to the door.
I think it's 25 feet up in the air.
No, it's 25 feet to the balcony. The balcony is on the same level as you,
But there's like
but it's like it's a gap all the way around.
Gotcha.
Other than the bridge that you guys like, the set of steps that took you up to like a stone bridge, the platform is not anywhere close to the balcony. It's almost like it's floating out there.
So the platform is not on the door, or it is on the door?
The doors are on the outskirts of the balcony.
So if I aim for the balcony, I'm gonna get the door too.
Yes, you see around the balcony, which goes all the way around the chamber almost entirely. It's more of a 3/4 crescent because there's nothing behind you, obviously, except for the door you came in. There are a few doors along that, and then there's doors all the way that go all the way up into the. You're not sure how far they go.
So I'm gonna try and chuck him at the door / balcony.
I'm gonna give you like a picture. I don't have one. I'll tell you. So, you guys came in through this like little chamber thing, and it kind of is like a circle, and then there's like this balcony around you, and this is the chamber where you guys came in. And this is a wall, and this is kind of a wall, and it kind of dead ends there. So this is this like black swirly stuff around is like the gap. So it looks kind of like that.
We're in the middle here.
You're in the middle.
And then all the
And then the doors are out on the
They're on that
outside,
outer-
Yeah.
and then there's that walkway around there.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So are the seats, are they on the balconies or are they...
Yes, they're on the balcony. They're like they're directly across from where you walk in.
And is Elvin the only one that knows that Gothbug...
I don't think he ever told you guys that.
Okay, so yeah, Elvin, you're the only one that knows that where the undead are.
So when I get on his hand, I give him Bard.
That's a good call.
Makes sense.
One good. I'm ready to roll.
You still have
one.
bless up too.
So
Yeah.
you go to put him into your hand, and he suddenly feels very, very heavy. Like heavier than you've ever felt him feel before.
So that's the plan. Toss the goblin.
You can see me?
That's bullshit.
So we're hearing this out loud, not like in our heads.
Mm.
Was.
It's an interesting plan.
Can you make my goblin lighter? I feel like you made him heavier.
They did get further than anyone.
Yep.
You must appease the spirit that haunts this building.
Oh, I think I angered it. I don't think I like to angered it.
Appease him? Like
Make him happy, make him laugh. We had to do that already.
The living have much to fear. The dead no longer fear anything.
I think you need to talk to my good friend Liz here. 'Cause he does lots of fearing, and he is not living.
He smells dead.
That's not the only smell.
He does smell dead.
And you're scared of stuff, right?
Death fills your party. You all have faced it, or embraced it, or made deals with it.
Does he still hold me like?
He's like having a really hard time
I'm
like
like,
getting you up, like getting you to like go above his shoulder. It feels like
So I feel like he's like this.
he
and-
feels like he weighs like 500 or 600 pounds.
It's just drop and just put
Yeah.
crater
put me down.
against-
I'm not sure they're worthy.
Let's drop the invisibility. There ain't no.
I will.
I dropped it.
Ask for her to reveal herself. Don't. Because they're not scared of living things. Maybe I can scare them with my death taxation itself. Death itself.
You hear a whisper in your ears.
I'm not meant for tricks. You have to find the key yourself.
well, if we want to scare him, we could show him that flask you got. Just,
I don't
It's
think
almost-
I don't
it's
think
almost
undead are
empty.
scared of that.
That's almost something.
that's
I
the
think you misunderstand your task. We don't care what you fear. We care about wealth. We care about deals. Yes, immortality. The spirit that haunts this place cares. All of you have interacted with it. It's been playing with you. So now, it wants to know what you fear.
I'm gonna walk towards. Do we know where the voices come? Is it from all around, or
It's coming from the chairs.
I'm gonna walk towards the chairs on the cusp of the thing.
As you walk forward, you begin to see a ghostly, ethereal shimmering. You see 5 figures sitting in the chairs. They are all gaunt. They are all spectral. One of them looks like they have a skull for a face. One of them looks like it's wearing some type of a hood that you cannot see into its face. The other one in the back, in the middle chamber, almost looks like he's not sitting. He looks very large, almost like an obese sort of man. You see one that looks very gaunt and scrawny. And the other one is almost more like a wisp. You don't really quite see all.
All right, walking towards. So is there like a handrail around the?
No.
It's just straight towards the edge of it. I'm gonna walk right to the edge of it. You want our fear? I fear that I won't get my reckoning with Madame Matrie. Or the guy, or Ichabod. I don't fear death, but I fear those 2 things.
You hear the chamber above you begin to. It sounds almost like a wind tunnel.
And then with that, when I hear the wind, and I'm going to just take a step forward.
You take a step forward and you see what looks to be a funnel of dark, swirling mist envelop him. And he disappears. You guys don't see him.
well, that didn't work.
Is my bat still in his pocket?
The bat went with
No,
him.
the bat was loose.
But the bat
That
is
was
loose with
loose.
you.
Okay, never mind then.
You're like, thanks a
Dang.
lot. You're worried about the bat, not me.
Well, I could communicate with you depending.
No, the bat.
Kind of.
Remember, I let the bat out.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, still having locate object, where's the one to go?
You're not sure. It does not seem to be on this plane of existence.
May I ask, was that an appeasement or was that a bad one? I couldn't really. I mean, he it didn't look good, but I can't really.
From the ceiling, you hear a voice that does not sound like it's coming from the throne rooms. What do you fear?
So, what do I?
What do you fear?
Well, I don't fear death.
Oh, it's Elvin. Elvin Windsoul.
Yeah, I don't fear death. I've already made a pact with it. I think the only thing I fear is losing my new friends.
Is this a truthful answer?
I feel like they need to insight check it.
You guys can insight check it?
All right, I'm gonna insight check it
Yeah, actually.
with a D4.
Oh,
He's using the bonuses.
I thought that was a 1.
I got 12.
Yeah, losing my friends, and
15.
um,
Well, sounds like we'll pretty much.
Yeah, one way of showing that was when
Navenna, you were like, yep. That's right.
Sounds like Elvin.
Like this.
Those who rolled high, this is like the most honest you've ever felt he's been. You felt like real sincerity in what you said.
I'll follow in the same footsteps as Scrooge, and I'll take a walk.
So as you begin to walk towards the edge of the platform, you hear that same whirling sound as he did. And if you walk off, is that what you're doing? You are enveloped by a black swirling tornado and you disappear.
I really hope they're not dying.
You see what I'm
That would
talking about? It doesn't look good. I mean, is that good? Did he die?
You're the black tornadoes.
Tornado with death.
I guess I'll go up next. Well, I'm not like the others. I do fear death. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. But I also fear that I've been letting those that I love down, and I've been trying so hard to find ways to protect those that I love that I've kind of forgotten who I've become across the way.
Are we hearing this?
Saying out loud.
You hear what he says, yeah.
I'm gonna insight
Sure.
check. 18.
Being honest. That's all I had to say, and I'll walk forward, the same as the others did.
As you approach the edge of the balcony, you hear the same sound of wind. Do you walk off?
Do.
Black tornado comes from the top of the ceiling. You disappeared.
It'd be really
As
funny.
it envelops you.
TPK.
Screws let y'all do your death.
Honestly,
Finally have
So next week, guys, you're gonna want to bring some new characters. We're gonna be starting a new campaign in a new setting.
I got this character.
I was thinking Waterdeep might be fun to go back
That's so
to.
cool. Jiznut, how do you guys feel about it?
that's 15.
We'll bring back Cratch and Gus.
Yes.
Be a good
And I
time.
can bring back Lick.
Lictus is coming back. All right.
Man, the same character.
Oh, and Abraham. Oh man,
Oh, I
Be
would love
so
to do
good.
that.
Wrestling Abraham,
wrestling Abraham.
Heck yes.
Waterdeep champion,
1994. What was it? 1491 or something? That's what your takes were.
So, is anyone else from the party going to appease the spirit, or attempt to appease the spirit?
Navenna,
You think you're appeasing the spirit. You're not sure. Your friends could be dead for all you know.
Navenna is hesitating. She doesn't want to go before Rocky.
Well, of course he.
Well,
is.
he's over there just like walking back and forth like.
Come on, Rocky, join the TPK.
What?
What? I'd say.
Your cult, so. Creek starts playing.
Well, I'm going to open.
So did you hear him?
What I miss?
He fell in.
You fell in?
Same way as they
Then the tornado grabbed him.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I don't like this. I don't know if it's fear though. I mean, heights, you know, tornadoes, yeah, those are scary. What do I really fear? I fear that I can't protect my family anymore. One of them already died. I fear that we're gonna fail this task and then the family's gonna go to hell. I fear my father. I fear what I'm doing right now, maybe saving Ravnica, but being absent from my family. Is that helping? Is that hurting? I don't know. I fear Skriznit's flask. It is absolutely disgusting. Do you know fungus? Let me back. Mushrooms are a fungus, right? Now, I know you can make some medications out of fungus, like the, I know that I tell that it's on my allergy list because I don't want it.
I feel like the father should just come out and sue him before you finish. Like, gosh.
Dirty dishes. In fact, I got this thing at clean.
Kill the spirit is annoying to death.
staring at him and inside checking him.
Yeah. Those are a lot of the things that I fear. And like, this is gonna seem a little weird, but like L-shaped rooms. It's just, I don't know. I like, why just not make it just longer? Terrifying.
Every room you guys go in is gonna be L shaped now. Every room.
Well,
It's gonna go from
there's
one
always
L to
corners.
another L to another L. It's gonna be the best.
And then at the root of it all, I fear doors that come to life.
That is true.
They hurt.
Okay.
It all comes back to episode 1.
Yep.
Yep.
You guys have been through a lot.
And I'll kind of like turn around and go kind of like this and just kind of fall back.
You don't even have time to hear the swirling tornado. As you just fall and immediately it just swoops down and you disappear. So you are all alone left in the chamber of the Obsidian.
Well, first I'm gonna facepalm because of everything I just heard.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna-
really mean about the L-shaped room. It's weird.
That's the biggest one.
Then he drops back out.
It takes him higher to drop him further.
I thought Elvin was the chatty one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just see the dead guys. I could die again.
If only I could die again.
So I glance back at where we came from, almost like I'm about to leave. Take a deep breath, touch the doll I have on my shoulder. Then I'm going to walk up to it, and I'm going to say, I fear letting them down and letting something happen to them. And I fear dying and being unable to help them. And then I step in.
You hear the swirls of wind above you, and as you take a step off, the tornado comes from the ceiling, and you are whisked away as well. You all seem to appear at the same time into a what looks to be a room made entirely of gold. There are piles of coins, gems, art, sculptures. This room seems to go on, well, further than any of you can see. In the middle of all of this, you see a small chair. The chair is made out of wood. It's very simple. and there's a small child sitting in the chair.
What's the child look like?
The child seems to be very pale, has sandy blonde hair. It kind of comes down a little bit past the ears, not quite bowl. It's all the same length, but the front is sort of like pulled back, kind of in like a little bit of a half ponytail almost, while the sides sort of droop down. He's wearing very simple clothes. He does not look like he comes from money, even though he's surrounded by wealth. The boy looks to be about 9 or 10 years old. He just has a perpetual look of sad.
Hey there, little feller. How y'all doing?
He turns and looks at you, and you can see he's got kind of like dirt on his face, and his knees look like they've been scuffed up, and like he's been crawling around or outside playing or something. You have a lot of fears.
Yep. Did you hear them all? How do you feel about
I zoned out a little bit.
Especially. Just telling you. Those L-shaped rooms. Think about it.
Thanks, Chris. Like, what?
Yeah, no, no,
You're
none of
out
us-
with that?
She's the only one that heard it out of us. So.
I fear a lot too, even though
Well, I thought the guys down there was saying that y'all are not living and have no fears, though.
well, I'm very different from them.
How's that?
It's hard to explain. But I'm the spirit that haunts this building.
What happened to you?
I'm not sure. I remember being alive, happy, hanging out with my friends. And then darkness. I could hear a lot going on around me. And I felt cold.
Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't breathe. And now here I am.
Well, I have a theory. Have you heard of fungus? It's everywhere.
I can't leave. The magic in this place does not allow me to leave
Well,
on my own.
my friend Liz there has something that the magic does fear.
Huh?
The radiant.
What? You don't mind me interjecting. What do you mean you can't leave by yourself?
The magic binds me here. The shadows keep me here. I am the shadows, and the shadows are me. I hear all they hear and see all they see. And I know things about people, things I shouldn't know, couldn't know. It's like their minds are books that I can peer into. And all I want to do is turn to the scary places in their head. And that's how the vault stays protected.
What if we helped you leave?
I'm not even sure if that's possible.
Well,
However, I was told those that make it this far are allowed to take one thing from here.
well,
So choose your thing.
I think we should take him.
I like the cherries on.
Yeah, I mean it's a solid chair.
And I walk up to him, I'm like, you need a little collar in your cheeks. Would you like a drink? And while I'm doing this, in my other hand, I bring out the little fairy trinket that I had used for poison spray. Basically disconnected the poison spray part. Now it's just the trinket of the little fairy that can fly, and I hand it to him.
He reaches out his hand and he looks at it almost like he's trying to remember what to do with it.
And then I put the flask away and I reach out my other hand for his open hand. Come with us.
that's what you choose.
We can always make money.
All of these priceless riches.
Yeah, we might come back from later.
As you touch his hand, you feel warmth flood you. And you are all teleported out immediately, outside, back into the chamber of the Obsidian.
Is the kid with us? Is the chair with us?
That's the important part.
You should handshake the chair too.
And grab them both. at the same
I'll
time.
get that next time we're in here.
You have chosen. You may take the energy of our ley line.
Cool. Does the kid get to leave though?
Guess we'll find out next week.
What was that? The acting?
That's the end.
And with that, we will wrap up next week with Inside the Chamber of the Obsidian. Hope everybody had a really good time in the Scooby-Doo Haunted Bank.
Love that.
And we will be back next week doing more adventures in Ravnica, wrapping up this this maze campaign. There's going to be some interesting stuff. No more challenges. You guys have completed most of those, but I do have some other surprises in store that I thought we might get to, but we did not.
Hey, now we gotta pull the mask off the kid, see who he really is.
It's Old Man Withers.
Exactly.
With that, we will be back next week. Everybody have a good night.
See ya, dude.